once you have made it this time. Hi Neelam. We're just starting. Good afternoon. Just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Let me set my screen. Okay, then. Good to go. Okay, Neelam, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Shardul, Soumya, Neelam, Varun, M. Khai, Nityashri, Chitransh. Okay, anyway, all of you welcome and congratulations. Online also, I presume all of you are for 24 mains. Or anybody preparing for 25? Some of them do that, okay, because they have time or they want to keep the pace. They start from now itself 25 ke liye. But I presume, oh, you have got one of us is there. The rest all 24. There you are. Anvita 25, Nityash 25. Okay, no problem. Venkatesh, Khwaja, good afternoon. So I hope you all have seen the session on Saturday. Did you? On Saturday we had the one on YouTube. I made it live. Okay, so I have explained what our process will be. And this at 12 o'clock today, you all had one practice session. So those who joined me a bit later, so at 12 o'clock, 12 to whatever you take, 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m., I'm not so strict here. Okay, you will start with your practice writing. Practice writing, 15 questions, 10 questions, in some cases maybe 20 questions. We'll have that. And most of these questions will be a mix of some PYQs honge plus others. So I am choosing the questions according to what I think are important for this year. Okay, so please, all of you, mandatory, you must attempt. So today I am told that not all of you are attending. Okay, 15-20 bacche the offline. Online I do not know what you all have done. Okay, so please do not miss this. The main challenge of mains preparation is writing skills and writing habit chahiye aapko. And somehow I feel that writing is something that doesn't come naturally to us. एक reluctance होता है, बाद में कर लेंगे, अभी क्या करेंगे, and then you keep on postponing it. And when nice story we tell ourselves is, अभी कोर्स खत्म नहीं हुआ है, तब खत्म होगा तब करेंगे, या फिर अभी रिवीजन अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है, I'll revise and then write. Trust me, your revision will never get over. Some of you have done your prelims, you know this. Okay, and some of you were there with me. How much of push we had to do, कि practice questions. Okay, बाद में कर लेंगे, and okay, it keeps on getting postponed. You couldn't do all the questions, could only do 7. ठीक है Vishwam, at least you know your pace, right? How many of you could do all the questions we had given you in the time frame? None of you? How many did you manage? In 2 hours, कितना लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? 7 लिखा. कितना लिखना चाहिए आपको? Are you aware of कितना लिखना होगा? In your mains paper, okay, section A, question number 1 से 5 करना ही करना है. Okay, section B से 5 करना ही करना है. Apart from this, there are 3 that you have to do, which is 6 questions. right? Okay, 6 or sometimes even 3 each hota hai. Okay, yeah, so that's a good amount. 18 questions approximately you'll have to be ready with. 18, 19 questions. Yeah, so in some questions they might have only two, A and B. Sometimes A, B, C bhi hota hai. Okay, 3 parts. Now they're asking you A, B, C type questions. Okay, so agar 6 hota hai, so you have to have as many questions ready for that. So be aware of this. So in 2 hours, I presume you must have the speed of writing at least 15 answers. So don't worry. I mean, this is the beginning, but all of you be mentally prepared for it. Otherwise, you know, wo bada distressing hota hai if you cannot do that. Are simple mathematics here. Okay, you have to do 3 questions apart from 1 and 5. Ye 5, question number 5 hai. Okay, you have not seen the paper yet. Okay, theek hai. A, B, C, D, E, 5 questions. One has A, B, C, D, E, 5 questions. Then you have question number 2, A, B, and C. Question number 3, A, B, and C. Question number 4, A, B, and C. Question number 5 compulsory hai. 6, 7, 8 tak hote hain. So if you are doing 3 of the remaining, so 3 into, okay, 3, 9 questions yahan par hai, and these are 10. So I say I gave a number approximately, okay, 18, 19, whatever you have. In some years they've asked only 2 subparts, but now they're asking 3 subparts. So if 3 hours likhna hai, you have to have a good speed. To have a speed of 15 answers. Okay, that way what happens, you know, you can manage your paper better. Some of the concept model answers were new and hard to remember. Koi baat nahi, वैसे ही पढ़ोगे आप. Okay, I know some of the questions and topics were new. Okay, how many of them? Okay, 2, 3, 4 of them. बाकी कर लेते आप लोग. Okay, so please start this process. And I insist, those who are around ORN, okay, you come and write in the class conditions. जो ORN में नहीं हो, ठीक है, अब रूम में करना है करो आप लोग, ठीक है? So that is one part, and then on, okay, say 4 o'clock onwards, I will be doing 3 things. I will help you revise the important topics. I will give you some additional content wherever required, plus some bit of answer writing. Okay, practice bhi hum aapko kara denge. So don't tie me down to 1 hour, 2 hours types. Let us do as much as we can. Now, I always say this, clearing prelims is not an easy work. Now that you have cleared prelims, use these 2 months that you have, okay, to give it your best shot at the mains. Okay, 10, 12 hours, you are on with us. Okay, okay, so let's get started now. Achha, the first thing, I hope you have seen the PYQs now. In 2023, okay, they have asked one question on economic geology, okay, and okay, applied aspect पूछ दिया है. They have asked one question on paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading. Am I right? Yeah, okay. One question they asked, what are the environmental implications of economic geology? Okay, they've asked paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading. And one question they have asked on peneplains. Peneplains and under different geomorphic cycles. So somewhere they have touched the topic called as geomorphic cycles. So for this year, my prediction is, ये 3 को छोड़ दो. Okay, which is you can leave magnetism, leave sea floor spreading, पूरा छोड़ दो आप. I mean, go through the notes once, but nothing intense here. But economic, okay, geology पूछा है. The other one they have not asked is geohydrology. Okay, they have not touched on, okay, managing geomorphological hazards. So I am predicting this year, these are the 2 more important topics. So applied se pakka ek पूछेगा. Every year they're asking you one question on applied topic. Okay, so one is geohydrology. Okay, about floods, managing the channel morphology, something related to groundwater management maybe. Okay. And second is about the geohazards, volcanism, earthquakes. Okay. Linked to this is also your landslides also. So this is an important topic, I think. Okay. Now, if you look at the syllabus, एक बार हम दिखा देते हैं आपको. The first topic of a syllabus is, so we will move, okay, with the syllabus and keep on helping you revise. So your syllabus is here. I hope you all can see this. Is it fine, all of you? Okay. So factors controlling landform development, okay, I think is again important this year. What they're doing is, they're asking the factors one by one. 22 में पूछा था, how is slope and factor, how is altitude a factor, how is relief a factor. Okay, 2022 question that they asked was, okay, discuss the role of slope, altitude and relief in landscape development. And sometime earlier, they've also asked one related to the climate. But I think ये important topic है. Okay, what are the factors controlling landform development? So I'll cover that. Nothing much on endogenic and exogenic forces, though I should know what is diastrophism and what it does. Okay, origin and evolution of Earth crust. They may or may not ask, but not a very important one. Physical conditions, or you're leaving geomagnetism completely. Okay, revise kar lo notes mein, but nothing I will deal with. Conditions of interiors, P wave, S wave, please do all of that. Okay, what I think is, this time important will be geosynclines, and I think isostasy is important. Isostasy 2 साल हो चुका है, नहीं पूछा है. But topics like drift theory, tectonics, I mean, ये अगर पूछेगा भी तो आंख बंद करके आपको आंसर पता होना चाहिए. Like, I can't teach you a Wegener at this stage of your preparation. Okay, so isostasy I will help you cover right now, geosynclines, and I think you must cover volcanicity, earthquakes and tsunamis. Volcanicity, earthquakes and tsunamis. So I'll help you something on that. अब geomorphic cycles पूछ दिया है. Okay, they've asked this last time, peneplains and cycles. But what they can ask you now is, yeah, landscape development they can ask you. And in fact, they are asking something or the other on some landform or the other. So in the landscape development, I think you must focus on karst pe focus karo, karst topography. You must focus on coastal say landforms, karst landforms, coastal landforms and glacial landforms. Why glacial? Because they have not asked for a long time. The last time they asked about glacial was one on drumlins पूछा था. Okay, उसके बाद पूछा नहीं है. Okay, on glacial landforms. And looking at climate change, melting glaciers, okay, GLF हो रहा है. So I think glacial topography can be important. Okay, so landform development from that perspective. Channel morphology, we will link it with geohydrology. ठीक है? Geohydrology. Economic geology, environment, ये पूछ दिया last time. So you can ignore that for now. Fine? That is the focus area of coverage. Yeah, drumlins are basket of topography. How to analyze PYQ? बेटा वही तो कर रहा हूं और क्या कर रहे हैं? You have to open up the question bank and start seeing it. ठीक है? ठीक है, initially I'll help you with this, don't worry. ठीक है? Okay, now just to give an idea about how the questions are framed. तो एक तो बताया मैंने, they've asked one on economic geology. Now look at these questions. Okay, previous year's questions में define speleothems. A speleothem is from the karst topography and how are they formed and so on. Aspects of channel morphology in transportation, settlement, flood control and flood management. Okay, this is still an important topic. हालांकि पूछा है in 22, इसी का modifications they can again ask you. Channel hydrology. Okay, discuss role of slope, altitude, relief. Discuss mountain genesis, mountain types. So mountains, okay, have been asked. 2021 में they asked altiplanation. Altiplanation is from periglacial landforms. So periglacial पूछ दिया आपको, यहाँ periglacial पूछा, यहाँ पर karst पूछ दिया आपको. Okay. Then the concept of tectonics and isostasy, okay. Stream basins and channel divide, okay. Watershed, okay, fine. Okay. Now this was a question on geohydrology. पूछा था 2020 में. Okay, what is the importance of mapping in geohydrology? Evolution of continental oceans in various theories. Okay, and origin of evolution of theories में this has been asked. Problems of erosion surface. I think I forgot that one. Erosion surface will be important this time. Erosion surface and something on denudation chronology. It will be a straight question. I don't think they'll ask you a tricky question here. Okay, 2019 phreatic पूछा है. Okay, 19 में Spitz phreatic volcanism से पूछा है. So they have not asked volcanism for quite some time. Okay, earthquakes not some time पूछा नहीं है, but earthquake has been in news. Okay, Afghanistan earthquakes, Turkey का earthquakes हो चुका है. You have got landslides in Uttarakhand and so on. So earthquakes, that's why I'm saying is an important topic. Okay, a sand spit tombolos. This is your coastal landform. Now that's why I'm anticipating. Now time has come. Karst पूछा. There was something related to your periglacial. So I'm getting ready for coastal. Second is karst. They might repeat. And third they can ask you is your glacial landforms. Okay? Again, plate boundaries, methods of measuring intensity of earthquakes. That was way back in 2019. Okay? So that's how you will have a look. Davis-Penck is a standard possible question. Okay, and do not ask you tricky one. Okay, what is Davis compared with the Penck, or they can ask you what is geomorphic cycle, the concept of a base level is standard questions. Okay, fine, all of you here. So I have given my idea about what I think they can ask you. Now let's get on with our quick revision and completion. The first topic I'm discussing is what are the factors affecting landforms development. What are the factors affecting landform development? Okay, so what are the factors? Important factors are, one is the type of forces. Okay, forces, are they diastrophic forces? Okay, are they the catastrophic forces? Are they forces related to weathering and erosion? Are they forces related to internal forces? Okay, so one factor is the forces is one. Second important factor is rock structure. Rock structure. When I say rock structure, I mean the lithology. I mean the type of rocks. Type of rocks, are they hard rocks? Are they soft rocks? Are they say limestone rocks soluble in water? Are they rocks like granite, resistant rocks? Lithology is about the texture of the rocks. Lithology also implies whether the rocks have faults, whether the landform has folds or not. So faults are the zones of weaknesses. जहाँ पर fault होगा वहाँ पर crack और deepen हो जाएगा. Okay, we call this as the lithological factors. Texture is the grain size, how small or large the grains are. Okay, the structure impacts. The third important factor is relief. Relief and topography. Now, relief and topography में largely we talk about two things. One is we talk about the height, okay, and the height difference. Okay, height and height difference directly, indirectly can, okay, control climate. They can control, okay, vegetation, and they can start impacting how landforms are shaping, and also slope. Okay, steep slope, gentle slope. Slope directly impacts the stability of the sediments. The slopes impacts, okay, the erosive capacity of streams and glaciers. Jitna zyada slope hoga, steep hoga, less hoga, and so on. So what impacts landform development? One is forces, okay, one is the structure, lithology, rock composition, and all of that. Okay, third is relief factors. A fourth important factor is climate. Now, what does climate do is three things. One is climate controls the effectiveness of denudation agents. It impacts the effectiveness of denudation agents. Okay, जैसे कि river, okay, humid conditions, wind in dry conditions, glaciers in cold, okay, periglacial conditions. Okay, we can have chemical weathering more in warm and humid conditions. Please keep jotting. Okay, I'm giving a summary type. Okay, climatic factors are an important factor because climate controls the agents of denudation. Okay, so give examples here. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, limestone also in dry conditions. Okay, with moderate humidity and rivers. Yes, correct. So it impacts the effectiveness of agents of denudation. That's one. Second, climate can also impact vegetation, and vegetation can impact landforms. Vegetation can impact effectiveness of rivers. Okay, it can impact stability of the slopes. The vegetation indirectly impact करता है. And in recent times do mention that climate in the form of climate change, this has been a very important dramatic factor in lot of landform formation. They say because of climate change, okay, the intensity of the rivers has increased. Because of climate change, the intensity of glaciers has also increased. Yes, okay, deposition and so on. Okay, so climate is a very important factor also in, okay, landform change. And the fifth important factor is time. Time is also important factor. हालांकि time का role is much debated. Does time play a role or not? इसका, okay, दो version है. One says yes, time plays a role, and time plays a role. How Davis talks about time and time as, okay, part of cycle and stage, correct? Okay. Other school says no, time has no control. This is the process theories like Penck. Time has no control. The process theories like that of, okay, Penck. Okay. So there are time independent theories and there are time dependent theories. Now time plays a role. एक Davis का model है, which is the stage based cycle change, और एक time का concept है non cyclic changes. Yes, time plays a role, but it is not cyclical changes. Okay, this is the concept of J.T. Hack. J.T. Hack says time has a role to play, but it is not like Davisian repetitive, predictive, cyclic impact on landform change. Huh? एलसी किंग भी स्टेज वाइज है ना, यूथ है, मेच्योर है, ओल्ड एज है. So Davis says age is there, LC King says age is there. Okay, Schwamm is also non-cyclic. Schwamm talks about again episodic time and all of that. Okay, so अगर आपको straight question पूछेगा, what are the factors, which is possible they can ask you, what are the factors affecting landform development? This is your format and develop on this. My guess is they might ask you, or even if they ask the whole thing, don't write much on this and this. इस पे ज्यादा मत लिखिए, because the more you write here ना, it's an ending saga. लिखते रहोगे खत्म नहीं होगा. Okay, you must focus more on debates. One is talk about climate a bit more and talk about time a bit more. Okay, how does climate impact? You can discuss that a bit more detail. And a bit more detail on how does time impact, climate and time. इसको ज़्यादा नहीं करना. Okay. Now, for structure, अगर पढ़ना है, I'll just. I think I told all of you to bring your Geomorphic textbook. I left a message. नहीं है तो देख लेना घर में जाकर, no problem. So there is this page here. Let me open that for you. Yeah, so here it is, page number 26. Page number 26. I'll quickly, now see, you cannot go back and do this again. एक बार में खत्म करते हैं. With some jottings, you can finish it off. Page 26, concept number 2. It says, a geological structure is a dominant control in the evolution of landform and is reflected in them. The structure plays an important role in landform. Okay, development. In structure, it writes about lithology and nature of rocks, the hard rock, soft rock, and so on. In structure, it also includes arrangement of rocks, okay, what type of beds and so on, and structure also whether there are folds, there are faults or not. Okay, so it is across 3-4 pages. And also it also includes rock characteristics. Rock characteristics includes rock joints, permeability, porosity, and so on. Okay, which together I have called as rock type and lithology. Okay, page number 26 say page number 34 tak hai. Okay, key ideas you should know. Not the time to do a thorough study here. Let me take this up quickly. Okay, how does structure impact landforms? So structure impact landforms in the form of what? Rock types and lithology. Rock types and lithology. Okay, so in this we talk about type of rocks, rock hardness, rock softness. A hard rock examples talk about granite. Softer rocks examples are the sedimentary rocks. They get eroded fast and so on. In lithology, we will include the presence of folds, the presence of faults. It also includes a rock characteristics such as the presence of joints, porosity and permeability of the rocks. ठीक है, develop on this and इसमें ना examples देते रहना. How does structure? So सब मिला के 2 or 3 paragraphs में with some examples you are done. So structure plays an important role. ठीक है, all done here? Okay, let's move on towards the role of climate. The role of climate. So what does climate do? Climate का main role है that it controls the effectiveness of agent of denudation. It impacts the effectiveness of different weathering okay, weathering forces. The weathering, the processes. Weathering, is it a frost shattering? Is a weathering process. Whether it is deflation. Deflation is also a weathering process. Whether you have got exfoliation is also a weathering process. Okay, a weathering process also, say, think of a chemical weathering. Say oxidation is an example of chemical weathering. Okay, the first one is it controls the agents of denudation. Whether the river is more powerful, whether the glacier is more powerful, okay, whether you have a wind as a more powerful agent. Okay, the climate decides that. Okay, and weathering processes, two examples they could chhod dena. Don't dwell too much on it. Frost shattering in periglacial conditions, okay, deflation in arid dry conditions, exfoliation hard granites में with lot of temperature variations. Hot conditions may it will expand, cold may contract, and because of which the rock will start breaking along the outer layers. We call that as exfoliation. Onion peeling bhi isko bolte hain. And we have got chemical weathering. Oxidation is one type of chemical weathering. In the presence of, okay, chemical weathering is more say effective when it is warm and it is humid conditions. In general, mechanical weathering happens more in a very dry conditions, or mechanical weathering happens in cool and humid conditions. Chemical weathering happens in warm and humid conditions. So moisture chahiye hota hai for chemical weathering. Whereas if it is very dry like deserts, wahan mein mechanical hota hai, or it is cool and humid. Cool humid mein the main agent is the river. It causes mechanical weathering. इतना बन जाएगा ना? I hope एक paragraph के अंदर में. Okay, that is one point. Second discussion point is, okay, that every climate can be studied through certain representative landforms, because climate plays a role. So climate can be studied through certain representative landforms. Some type of landforms are representing the thing of oasis. Agar oasis hai matlab kya? It has to be a desert region. Okay. If there are moraines, it has to be a periglacial region or a glacial region. If there are rivers, it has to be, okay, a humid and a wet region. Okay. So in climate, there are certain representative landforms. We call these landforms as diagnostic landforms. We call these landforms as diagnostic landforms. Diagnostic landforms के examples हैं. Okay, your book mentions this. One is TOR, T-O-R. Okay, TOR, the debates हैं, but most agree that TOR probably represents periglacial conditions. It represents periglacial conditions, TORs. TORs typically दिखने में कैसे होते हैं? They are large stones like this, piled up like a pyramid. We call this as a TOR. Halanki some say that TOR are features of drier conditions, but they also are features of periglacial conditions. They are a representative diagnostic landform. So वैसे there are lateritic accumulations. We call those as a Dury crust. Dury crusts are representative of, okay, again a warm and humid conditions. D-U-R-I, Dury crust. Warm and humid conditions में we will have formation of Dury crust. Dury crust and laterites. वैसे ही moraines. Moraines are agnostic landforms, suggests that climate has an important role to play. Is it okay, all of you? अच्छा, मैं आपको एक diagram देता हूं. Book से ही है. Okay, say, so there is one on this side, we are mapping rainfall. On this side, we are mapping temperature. This is the direction of increasing rainfall. This is the direction of, okay, increasing temperature. Okay. Yet this is increasing rainfall, this is increasing temperature. Okay, and then there are zones where what type of weathering or what type of process operates. So I'm giving you this map. किताब से ही दे रहा हूं आपको मैं. Okay, this is in page number page number 91. Page 91, page 92. Okay, you remember the one? Okay, I'll teach this to you. So it's here. It is. Dekh lo aap, all of you. So you have got this map here. This is about chemical weathering. देखो यहाँ पर देखो. Increasing rainfall inches में 10 से 80 याद रहेगा all of you. Increasing temperature 10 से 80 again. ठीक है? You draw a line here approximately 80 से 40 सब में यही line होगा more or less. So on this side, again, this type of climate doesn't exist. These climate exists. So it is dry conditions and it is cold conditions. This means what? It is wet conditions and it is also warm hot conditions. So chemical weathering is weak in dry conditions and in cold conditions. Chemical weathering is best where you have got humid conditions and you have got high temperatures. ठीक है? So chemical weathering weak in dry conditions and in cold conditions. It's more better in humid conditions and in warm conditions. The opposite happens for physical weathering. Physical weathering देखो आप, जहां पर chemical weak है, physical is stronger, maximum. जहां पर chemical strong है, the physical will become weaker. I hope you can remember these two diagrams, no problem. Okay, so if they ask you, does name of the book Prakhar? Okay, so fine, I will try to forget this question. Savindra Singh, Geomorphology. This session is only for those who are giving their mains. Okay, बाकी जो नए नए आए हो, you get back to the basic work. Raman, we are starting a new batch tomorrow. Okay, you can start off with me tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, on 5th, day after tomorrow. Will I provide residential initiative? Yes, I should. That is one of the intention. I'll let you know. Okay, those who are in Bangalore, I can provide you with some space because we have a tie-up with our institution, so I can help you with that, provided you've cleared the prelims. I should. So give me 1 or 2 days, I'll confirm that for you. You can ask us. Okay, I got distracted. कोई बात नहीं. ये दो डायग्राम हो जाएगा all of you. अपने notes में draw करो. Don't just say yes and keep quiet. Draw it. Put the page number. Okay. अच्छा, उसके बाद में next page में you have got a more detailed diagram. Page 92 देखो. Okay. Same 10 to 80, 10 to 80. Okay, 80 से 40 line बना देना. Okay, above part strong mechanical weathering. You come down, it's strong chemical weathering. बीच में it's moderate chemical weathering. बन जाएगा आपका all of you? So in any discussion of weathering, erosion, climate control, इसको use करो आप. Say they ask you, climate change का consequence क्या है? Let's draw this one, no? With climate change, the climate is moving more towards a wet and warm. So wet and warm का मतलब क्या? You'll have more and more of chemical weathering. Okay. Plus you also will have some amount of mechanical weathering, but lesser maybe. No, for GS I will not encourage this. GS में statement लिख देना. Graph में आप teacher को डरा दोगे essentially. We don't want the teacher to know you coming from geography optional background. ठीक है? Okay. Now एक और diagram and I think ये important है. Page 93 में this one. There's a diagram for mass movement, landslides. Any question on applied geomorphology, landslides, slope stability, ये बना दो. Landslide possible दोनों केस में है. Okay. When the conditions are dry and cold, think of avalanche. And in conditions where it's warm and it's wet, heavy rainfall हो गया. So both conditions में I can have landslides, mass movements. Okay? GOLOF is something of this kind here. It is actually, it's actually dry conditions and it has low temperature, but you suddenly have heavy rainfall now. So use this graph. So does climate impact landform development? Yes. 1 or 2 graphs with examples, you are done. Okay? Now this is what is called as climatic geomorphology. I have a strong hunch कि इसके तरफ क्वेश्चन जाएगा. अगर नहीं भी जाएगा, आप खींच लेना. You find a ground to add climate geomorphology in your discussions. Climate change में add कर दो. Yes. Yeah, in this zone. In this conditions of temperature. ये rainfall and temperature. You keep it in general. यहीं पर maximum. ये line बनाना, ये line बना देना, और यहाँ लिखना maximum, यहाँ लिखना maximum. Simplify it. Why do you want to keep it too complicated? So if I was in your place, I would have done this. I would have done this. Draw this graph. 10, 80, rainfall in inches. Okay. 10, 80, temperature in degree Fahrenheit. Approximate 80 से 40 तक एक line बना दो. And you have done, you use it please. And use this name. Most of these discussions of climate geomorphology was done by Peltier. According to Peltier, जो बोलना है बोलो. ठीक है? But you should know the proper graphs. Simplify the diagram so you don't have to make it too complicated for yourself. याद नहीं रहेगा आपका. ठीक है all of you? Climate change दोनों हो रहा है ना, because you have extreme conditions here. एक तो ये वाला ज्यादा बढ़ रहा है because rainfall is increasing, it becoming more and more warmer. What's happening in Himalayas, Western Ghats में हो रहा है. Plus even this part in general are vulnerable to landslides. Okay, so when you have got sudden heavy snowfall, strong avalanches, maybe a strong bout of cloudburst, यहाँ पर भी आपका हो जाएगा landslides. ये वाला हो रहा आर्कटिक में, एक्सट्रीम्स में, करेक्ट. आर्कटिक्स में नहीं, सारे ग्राफ में सारे ग्राफ में क्या इधर है मैकेनिकल, इधर है केमिकल, बाकी ग्राफ. दिस इज ओनली अबाउट मास मूवमेंट. मास मूवमेंट लैंडस्लाइड्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? सो कैन यू हैव गुड one page on what is climate as a factor in landform development, how it impacts processes. इस पे ज्यादा ध्यान देना. The second one discussion is on time as a factor. Time as a factor. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Go back to climate. Now, having said this, there's one debate about climate. Okay, so we have Pink accepting more the climate is an important factor. Okay, so we have got two versions. Pink, acknowledges that yes, climate impacts landform development. Pink, agreed on the concept of climatic geomorphology. Views of Davis थोड़ा सा ambiguous है. Okay, Davis does not talk about, because what Davis is what? Davis talks about the concept of normal cycle. Normal cycle में the ideal climate is what? It is cool, temperate, humid conditions. And he called all other climate as climatic accidents. Okay, so indirectly telling us that the cool temperate climate where we have got rivers which operate, okay, are the more important in terms of controlling landforms. ठीक है, हालांकि बाद में Davis did accept the possibility of glacial cycle, arid cycle, ये सब ऐड किया बाद में उन्होंने. Second is he called all other climates as climatic accidents. ये वाला cool temperate humid conditions as part of normal cycle. Okay, and it was L.C. King who said कि climate is not important. Okay, irrespective of the climate, the landforms are same across all climates. He used the concept what's called as climatic uniformitarianism. For L.C. King, climate is not an important factor in landform development. Climatic uniformitarianism. Okay, all of you? So a bit of details with graphs, and now you have given us some kind of a theoretical basis, whether climate is important or not. Okay, now we'll move on. The next I talked about is time as a factor. Time as a factor. This is a debate. Okay, time का कितना role है नहीं है. This has been the basis of schools in geomorphology. So we have the Davisian historical approach that says yes, time is a factor. Time operates continuously. Time operates over very long geological time scale. Thousands and millions of years से बात हो रही है. Okay, so time operates through cyclical changes. Okay, time operates through slow, gradual, evolutionary changes. Okay, time, that's what Davis tells us. Whereas, unke contrast mein we have a Penck who says time is not a factor. It is time independent approach. Time independent approach. कौन सा? हाँ, phase is not time based. Phase is in terms of whether endogenic or exogenic is strong or weak. The concept of phase of Penck, this is not time based. Davis में the concept of a stage is time based. क्या है? Time एक factor है. Stages are the parts of that time. Young stage, senile stage. Okay, so he uses both. The word stage implies time as a factor. बस ये debate करके छोड़ देना. Don't get into too much of detailing here. So you can write down something on factors of landform evolution and change. हो जाएगा all of you here? ठीक है? Okay, then let's move on. So this topic is done. Okay. So if they ask you, next one, if they ask you, discuss the landforms of or discuss the consequence of a diastrophism. Can you handle this? This has been asked, abhi nahi, bahut pehle पूछता था. I'm talking about 90s and 80s when they asked this question. Discuss the landforms or the consequences of diastrophism. Essentially, whatever forces we have, the forces can be slow, the forces can be gradual, and they are from the interiors of the earth. And there are forces which can be sudden, which can be catastrophic, and they are from the interiors of the earth. Okay, so these two are part of endogenic forces. This is part of endogenic forces. And we have forces which are exogenic, weathering, denudation, and so on. So diastrophism are these forces which are slow, which are gradual, and from interiors of earth. So these are the diastrophic forces. These are the catastrophic forces, earthquakes and volcanisms. So sudden hote hain, very powerful hote hain. Okay, and these are the forces of denudation. So when they ask you diastrophism, इसमें सब कुछ आ गया. इसमें आ गया mountain building. Okay, इसमें आ गया the process of rifting, the slow gradual hai. You also have continental drift in this case, diastrophism. Okay, so mountain building, rifting, continent motions. Okay, in fact, you can also add here, okay, this is volcanism. Okay, but there are certain slow volcanism processes. वो भी इसमें आ जाएगा. So if they ask you diastrophism, okay, okay, you can add most, just leave earthquakes and strong, powerful eruptions. Baki sara you come under diastrophism. So what is diastrophism and what are the consequences? Folding, absolutely. Mountain building का मतलब हम folding की बात कर रहे हैं. Folding, faulting, okay, they're all part of drift of continents. They're all part of diastrophic forces. Can you handle this question? No problem here. So explain दो line में what is diastrophism and what are the life forms. So you can draw a schematic on this if you want to draw. So let me check for this. Yeah. JT hack. अगर जानते हो तो लिख लो, पॉइंट ऐड कर लो, that's all. Allow me, I'll go towards hack a bit later. But आप जान लो कि hack also accepted the idea of time, but it was not cyclical time of Davis. ठीक है, आप उतना ऐड कर सकते हो. So page 159 में in your Savindra Singh, endogenic, exogenic. Exogenic में volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Okay, sorry. Exogenic नहीं, endogenic में diastrophic and sudden. Under sudden you have volcanic and earthquakes. Under diastrophism, everything else. A pyrogenesis is the continents. Okay, orogenesis is fold mountain building, including faults, warping, folding. Okay, upward movement, downward movement. So you just leave the strong volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Baki sara aa jayega under diastrophism. Okay, so page number 159. 159, Savindra Singh. Okay, इसी में लिखा हुआ है, diastrophic forces include both vertical and horizontal movements, which are caused due to forces deep within the earth. And diastrophic forces operate very slowly, okay, and effects become discernible thousands of millions of years. Okay, they are called as constructive forces, larger land areas of the globe. So formation of mountain, plateau, plain, lakes, big faults. Diastrophic can be a pyrogenesis, the continents moving up and down, and can also be orogenesis, which is the fold mountain building. ठीक है, इतना कर लो, your answer is done. लिखना तो 2 पेज के अंदर ही है ना. The rest I believe you all can handle this. How folding happens and whatever. Okay, so what is diastrophism? Be ready for a question on that. ठीक है? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. The next one is the origin of Earth's crust. इसको मैं छोड़ दे रहा हूँ. Origin of the Earth crust, how is it formed and all of that. Okay, I'm leaving it for now. Now, conditions of the Earth's interiors. Okay, crust, mantle, core, lithosphere. I believe you all know this. What is P wave? What is S wave? Okay, please look it up. छोड़ना मत. Notes दे के एक बार कर लेना. But make sure you have seen this. But I am leaving that for now. Okay. Then he talks about geosynclines. Now, geosynclines, I think, is a possible question. Okay, because ये बहुत दिन से पूछा नहीं है and not as frequently asked. Okay, what are geosynclines? So quickly, okay, see if you can revise with me. I mean, I had told you to see next time onwards, you bring your class notes also with you, okay, and also bring your textbooks with you. So मैं जब पढ़ा रहा हूँ ना, you can quickly revise along with me. Okay, so geosynclines, what are they? The elongated, they are relatively narrow, they're relatively less deep and shallow features. They're of the continental sizes. They are like massive troughs. Okay, they are geosynclines. The concept of geosyncline was given by Hall and Dana. Okay, and they talked about geosynclines with mobile floors. As sediment starts accumulating, the floors repeatedly start sinking along with the weight of the sedimentation. Along with the weight of sedimentation. Yes, okay. Geosyncline. Now, geosynclines का main purpose क्या था? I expect you keep jotting some words at least while I'm speaking. Okay. The main purpose of geosyncline was to explain mountain building. Because see, and which mountain building? Fold mountains. Because fold mountains के ना तीन features हैं. One is fold mountains are elongated long formations. One. Number two, fold mountains have marine sediment deposits. They are elongated features, relatively narrow and very, very high. Very, very high. Okay? So geosynclines were relatively narrow in that sense. Plus they are marine sediments. Marine sediments which have formed from some process they did not know. And third thing about fold mountain building is the fold mountains are always series of parallel ranges. They're not isolated ones. So if I have a mountain here, okay, साथ में एक और range होगा, साथ में एक और range होगा, and so on. So they believe that maybe it is some geosyncline. The geosyncline had sediments, and when there was compression, the sediments they rose up into series of parallel mountains. Okay, so in your discussion, what is a geosyncline? Define it the way Hall and Dana defined it. Then you add one paragraph on what is the conceptual need of a geosyncline. A geosyncline is a consequence of or is the basis of understanding how fold mountains are formed. Yes, correct. Yes, very nice, Prakhar, correct. Okay, having said this, so 2-3 names you should know. What does Schuchert tell about the geosynclines? There are polygeosynclines, there are monogeosynclines, there are mesogeosynclines. Okay, what does Style, S-T-I-L-L-E, tell us about geosynclines? There is a EU geosyncline and there is a myogeosyncline. There is a smaller geosyncline near the coast and a deeper one away from the coast. This big one is called as the EU geosyncline. This is called as the myogeosyncline. There are two types of geosynclines here talked about. Then we have some other people, like we have J-steers. We have Evans, E-V-A-N-S. They said geosynclines can be near the coast, or the geosynclines can also be further away from the coast. They can be within the continents. So agar पूछेगा, and this is a popular question possible, what are the types of geosynclines? Types में आपके ये आते हैं. The type of geosyncline according to Schuchert, the type of geosyncline according to Style, the type of geosynclines according to J-steers and Evans. ठीक है, मैं दिखा दूंगा page number. You can go back and yes, very nice. Okay, very nice. You can recall that. Okay. उसके बाद, okay, how does the geosyncline form? Okay, how does a geosyncline form? Now, how it forms, most of them have not said much. Hall and Dana only said there is a depression in which sediments are accumulating. वो बना कैसे? Not much have been told about it. The first man who tries explaining how they must have been formed is Arthur Holmes. And interestingly, Arthur Holmes relates geosyncline formations to the conditions of interiors of the earth. Okay, he relates the geosyncline formations with the convection cells of the mantle. He said, okay, दोनों possibility है. अगर convection cell is converging and sinking like this, the crust here will also depress like this, because ऐसे खींच के ये bend हो जाएगा. Okay, he said if okay, there is a rising and diverging limb like this of the convection cell, then the crust gets stretched, खिंच जाता है, and loses rigidity, and it again will sag down. So he said the geosyncline can form because of both the conditions. When there is a converging and descending cell, I can have a depression here, or when there's a rising and a diverging cell, okay, the crust can get stretched, it can become thin, it can lose rigidity, and it will sag down. ये झूल जाएगा, ये sagging है, and this is bending, warping conditions. Okay, the fact is none of this is right. Okay, but this is how Arthur Holmes is interpreting how geosynclines can be formed. So what's a geosyncline? What are the types of geosynclines? And how are geosynclines formed? Okay, so if you have done the classes with me, your notes mein hoga, go back and revise quickly. Otherwise, this much is enough for you. The next question is, how does a geosyncline become a mountain? How it becomes a mountain? Two people have tried to explain it. One is Haug, H-A-U-G. Although Haug did not tell us the mechanism of upliftment. He just said that geosynclines can get uplifted into mountains. H-A-U-G, Haug's. But the more reliable model is Kober's theory. This has been asked question. Kober's theory of geosyncline into mountains. So Kober talks about 5 stages of geosyncline into mountains. क्या stage है लिखो आप quickly. There is a geosynclinal stage. There is a geosynclinal stage. There is a lithification stage. There is a tectogenesis stage. Geosyncline stage, lithification stage. There is a tectogenesis stage. There is an orogenetic stage. And there is a glyptogenesis stage. There is a geosynclinal stage. There is a lithification stage, lithogenesis. There is a tectogenesis stage. There is an orogenetic stage, and there is a glypto. Glypto is when the mountain gets eroded. So mountain upliftment happens during the phase of orogenesis. Okay? So Kober explains how the upliftment happens. Now you must know about Kober. 4 things you must know about Kober. One is, Kober says the upliftment happens because of compressive forces. और ये compressive force आता कहां से है? It comes from cooling and contraction. That's why we call Kober as a thermal contractionist. From cooling and from contraction. Okay, this is one aspect you should know about Kober. Second, Kober said that the geosynclines can uplift with strong forces or uplift with moderate forces. अगर strong forces होगा, there will be series of fold mountains. और अगर moderate force होगा, you'll have mountains at the edge with a median mass and mountain at another edge. Okay, so he talks about the formation of median mass. When I said Kober explains the stages of geosyncline uplift. Second, I said Kober tells us upliftment is because of compressive forces, cooling and contraction. Okay, so this we call this as the thermal contraction theory. He talks about geosynclines can uplift in two ways, with strong forces where I can have series of parallel mountains, or they can because of moderate forces के बीच में रह जाएगा median mass. The median mass can be a basin, the median mass can be a plateau, okay, the median mass can be a large sea like the Mediterranean Sea, the median mass can be a plain, okay, like we have the intermontane plains and so on. Okay, the median mass. And okay, median mass. And then one more aspect I'm forgetting. Kober talks about, Kober talks about that geosynclines are always within the continents, not at the margins. For him, there's always a geosyncline which is surrounded by hard resistant rocks. There is a hard keratogen. There is a hard keratogen. Or beach mein is a geosyncline that becomes the mobile orogen. So this theory can explain Himalayan type maybe, but not Andes type, not Rockies types of mountains. Okay, there are geosynclines, okay, between two hard resistant keratogens. Moderate force, strong forces, there are stages and contraction approach while the continents are cooling. I hope I've revised the whole thing for you now. Okay, I'll tell the page numbers to you. Okay, but let's sit down. I mean, bate 6-7 topics, if we can do it, great for us. Okay, so your reference page will be, these kind of questions I always feel you must not make any mistakes. ऐसा question is like, बैठा के बोल रहा है कि आओ बेटा तुम्हें लेके जाता हूं मसूरी types. Okay, you can't miss these topics at all. Page number 220 in your Savindra Singh. This is in the chapter 13 mein. Chapter 13. Okay, so here we go. So, geosynclines, mobile zones of water, geosynclines converge into fold mountains. Okay, we have the idea of J estiers, long, narrow, shallow depressions, the gradual subsidence. Geosynclines are long, narrow, shallow depressions, characterized sedimentation and so on. Okay, they have sinking seas mein hota hai, the part of sinking seas. Here. Okay. Sinking seas as mentioned here. Hall and Dana gave the concept. Okay. Then we have this man called Hogg. Hogg talks about where the became fold mountains. He didn't explain the process, but he mentioned that they become fold mountains. Okay, and he had drawn a map of the world where all we had older geosynclines. Okay. Then we have Evans, page 222. Evans talks about geosynclines can be between two land masses. They can be in front of a mountain or a plateau. Okay. Ideas of Schuchert. Schuchert says they can be monogeosynclines. Okay. There can be polygeosynclines, monogeosynclines. Okay. Then Arthur Holmes, page 223. It's a lamba concept, I have summed up for you. Arthur Holmes. He talks about, okay, that it can be because of metamorphism. Metamorphism because of thinning of the sialic layer when there is a rising convection currents. Geosynclines because of compression and subsidence. Okay, this one and Yeah, that's about it. Geosynclines because of compression. Compression when you have got converging cells. Converging cells can compress, metamorphose. Okay. So this is the after homes wala page. I mentioned style. Style talks about eugeosynclines, myogeosynclines. Okay. The stages of geosyncline. Geosyncline stage, lithogenesis stage, orogenesis stage, glypto. Your book mentions 3 of them, but I have mentioned 5 of them. And those were the stages mentioned by Kober himself. The stages were discussed by Kober. Page 224. And then how they form. Okay, he talks about a contraction. Contraction theories mein aata hai, Kober. Contraction theory because of cold conditions and so on. Okay? So we have this mechanism. यहाँ बता रहा है mechanism 226 में है. Okay? So there are cratogens, 4 lands, the stages mentioned here. So if you don't have the notes, you can go through them detail. Otherwise, this much is enough. Okay? Okay. Stuti, you are attending classes somewhere else, not covered in detail. Why did you go anywhere else? Okay. Now, Stuti, look, to be very fair, all institutes are different. And all institutes teach according to what they think is important. To be very honest, the lot of topics even I don't teach. So, मुझे लगता है वो important नहीं है. Okay, because none of us know what they will ask us. And I learn from the paper. Okay, मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है, आप पूछ दिया, अगले साल पढ़ा दूंगा मैं. So let's not get into this blame game. Okay, so who has taught what? Every teacher has his limits. Will have the preferences. The problem आपके साथ ये भी तो है. आपको पूरा कोर्स खत्म चाहिए within 1 day. Okay, I am the only teacher who goes for 6 months. और कितने गाली सुनता हूं मैं. So no wonder others कि आपको चाहिए 4 महीना पढ़ा देते हैं. No problem. 5 months पढ़ा देते हैं. So my suggestion is, what you have not done, no worries. But see if you can touch something in the discussion that we have right now. I'm sure you go somewhere else. So my students will say, हमारे सर ने ये नहीं पढ़ाया था. Okay. So this is an unending saga. इसमें मन खराब नहीं करते. ठीक है? You try to cover whatever you can. And you trust me on my judgment. अगर आप मेरे साथ नहीं हो और कहीं और हो, then trust that teacher's judgment. But somewhere you have to trust the teacher. ठीक है? And the fact is, not everything that I tell will be asked. और ये भी fact है, okay, that they will ask some things I have not mentioned at all. So let us develop this slowly. I mean, no point losing sleep about it. ठीक है? आज बता दिया, नोट कर लिया. Somebody has done a very good work. Maybe can score 6, 7 out of 10. आप थोड़ा बहुत लिख कर 2-3 मार्क तो ले आओगे ना. बस वो 2-3-4 मार्क कहीं और मेकअप कर लेंगे हम. So is it okay? Yes, Visham. The 3 stages is what the book mentions. Okay, I am mentioning 5 stages. Okay, both are right, no issues. A bit more detail मैंने बता दिया आपको. All done? Okay, chalo. So let's move on. So we have done the topic geosynclines. Okay. Continental drift, I believe you can handle. My guess, if they ask you a drift question, they'll ask you a bit more detailed part. They'll ask you write a note on glaciation evidences of drift. Write a note on fossil evidence of drift. Write a note on the structural evidence of drift. How does drift explain the process of drifting? ऐसे पूछेगा वो. Very unlikely they'll ask you the whole. In fact, ever since syllabus got changed, they have not asked the complete drift theory in one question. Understandable. 15-20 मार्क में आप पूरा लिख नहीं सकते हो. So please go back and revise. 5 questions under drift theory. Number 1, okay, please revise what is the driving mechanism according to Alfred Wegener. What is the driving mechanism according to Alfred Wegener? 4-5 टर्म पता होना चाहिए. Driving mechanism because of Earth's rotation. Okay, Earth's rotation, centrifugal force, pole fleeing force, centrifugal force and pole fleeing force. Okay, so when you are spinning the body, okay, the body will start moving away from the poles, okay, towards the equator. We call that as pole fleeing force, going away from the poles. The second force he talked about is the gravitational pull of sun and moon. He called these as the tidal forces of sun and moon. Okay, Earth is spinning, the sun is pulling, and the body starts getting pulled, okay, because of the sun and moon. The third thing, he had a very vague idea. He talked about some imbalance between the center of gravity and center of buoyancy in the flotation process. Center of gravity and center of buoyancy mein kuch imbalance. It's a very weird idea, absolutely wrong. But he mentions this. 3 forces that drive. And the 3 forces that he had talked about were inspired by, okay, the concept given by Taylor's theory before him. Okay, Wegener gave his theory in 1912. Taylor gave the theory in 1908. So some ideas he borrowed from Taylor. Okay, in fact, he borrowed all these ideas from Taylor. There was a Pangea, there was Panthalassa, there was a Laurasia, there was a Gondwana land. ये सब Taylor के idea से ही ले रहे हैं. The merit of Wegener was he was able to link all of this through evidences. Taylor ने evidence detail में नहीं दिया था. That was the main difference. Otherwise, some of say that the drift theory must be credited to Taylor and not to Wegener. Okay? So prepare on one question. What are the forces that drives the continents? 1. Second, do prepare the 3 evidences separately. One is the fossil evidence, Glossopteris, okay, Mesosaurus, Lystrosaurus, Cyanonathus. I presume you know these terms. Okay, so prepare the fossil evidence alag se. Diagram ke saath mein, okay, the distribution of fossils. Second, you talk about the paleoclimatic evidence. Paleoclimatic evidence implies the glacial evidences. We have found glacial evidences in tropical, subtropical latitudes. Okay, the glacial drift that we have in Durban, glacial striations we find in Talcher, the paleoclimatic evidences, the evidences of changing climate. The third, discuss rock and structure evidences. The shapes are matching, the type of rocks are matching, and be very specific. The match across Atlantic Ocean. Brazil ka rock, Ghana ka rock, Angola ka rock, rocks of Patagonia region, okay, the presence of faults. Ye sab diagrams mein hai, notes mein hai, please go and check. Prepare these evidences separately. Okay? And if you know, at this stage I can't teach you, there's something called as wandering North Pole hypothesis. Okay, wandering North Pole hypothesis is actually a subpart of paleoclimatic evidence. Wegener did not know geomagnetism. Okay, Wegener explained the possibility of North Pole wandering based on glacial evidences. Okay, by glacier के evidence देख के बताया कि कहाँ North Pole होगा शायद. We call that as wandering North Pole hypothesis. ठीक है? If you know this, fine. Otherwise, you can skip that. So prepare these 4-5 questions for Wegener, and maybe be ready with what are the Okay, errors of Wegener's theory. Okay, ये अलग से prepare कर लो. Errors of Wegener. So 5-6 errors हैं. The Sial Sima concept is wrong. Okay, the drifting will always be towards west and north is wrong. It can be any direction. Okay, the scraping of the continents is wrong. The continents do not scrape the ocean floor. That is wrong. The driving mechanisms are wrong. Okay, Sial Sima is wrong. Reality में lithosphere है, asthenosphere है. Continents can move in any direction, not only towards west and towards the north. ठीक है? The third I said is, okay, that Sial scraping the ocean floor while floating, even that is wrong. And the fourth mistake is, okay, the mistake of driving mechanism. So I have a short note ready on drifting. All good here? ये आप कर लोगे आप. Let's move on. Okay. The next is the concept of plate tectonics. The concept of plate tectonics. So again, this is a much beaten topic, nothing much to add on this. What I want is, be ready for a short note if they ask you on any type of boundary. Write a note on convergent boundaries. Write a note on divergent boundaries. So you must tell me 4 things if they ask you any boundary. Okay, पहले बताओ कि boundary बनता कैसे? बनता कैसे? Divergent boundary, or it is okay, convergent boundary because of convection cells. So first talk about convection cells. Second talk about, okay, what does the boundary create in terms of landforms? कहाँ trench है? कहाँ पर moor है? कहीं पर subduction Benioff zone है? In some places I might have iron arc formation. So for each type of boundary, list down what are the landforms associated. ठीक है? The third thing, you list down what type of process happens. जैसे कि convergent boundary processes are fold mountain building. Explain that. Okay, divergent boundary processes include, okay, more rifting and the basaltic eruptions. क्या क्या process है? Okay, convergent boundary, you can also have subduction as a process, abduction as a process. So how does the boundary develop? What are the features associated? What are the processes associated? And fourth one is, give me examples. Examples always draw with a diagram. Diagram, locations of places, draw the map. My favorite diagram is draw the circumpolar belt very neatly. Okay, in fact, I can give you a couple of minutes. Draw the Pacific, circumpolar बोल रहा हूँ, sorry. The circumpacific belt of Ring of Fire. Okay, you should be doing that very confidently. That's Australia, that's New Zealand, okay. New Zealand here, there are some islands here, okay. We have this, South China Sea, okay. Kamchatka Peninsula, we have Alaska, South America, ठीक है? You have got Aleutian Islands here, Kuril Islands, Japanese Islands, South China Sea Islands here, Borneo, Java, New Guinea Islands here, okay. You have got Hawaiian Islands here, okay. इसको practice करो बैठ के बहुत neatly, and you can use this diagram in many places. Earthquakes में, volcanism में, you use this in tectonics theory. You can use this as a part of Pacific Ocean bottom relief. Okay, so this diagram I will practice. I'll try to use wherever I can. And this is, okay, the belt that we have. Okay, this is So use some colors if you can. And do mention the trenches kahan par hai. So you have got some trenches here, some trenches here, some trenches here. Okay, talk about the Moore system. Okay, somewhere here, ye aapka Moore system aise hai. So please take time, look at NCERT if you want to take NCERT, whatever. But draw the Pacific ring of fire very, very objectively. Practice this one. Second, you also practice the hotspot activity and what type of landforms they create. Hawaiian Islands and the rest. Hotspot activity practice karo. This one. And also practice the diagram of mid-Atlantic ridge. Mid-Atlantic ridge. So in your textbook, this is one diagram I want. You write down the names of the pages maybe. Ye ek diagram hai. Page number 243. Okay? It's about the OC collision boundaries. Sorry, O collision boundaries. So we have O. I think it's visible, right? Okay, O, subduction. The other, okay, ocean, ye wala part hai. Sea of Japan is here. Okay. Now, this is where subduction happens, volcanism happens, andesitic layers in the upper part, they become archipelagos. Okay, we have got deep ocean sediments called flysch. We have a trench. We have the marginal sea, which is the back arc basin here. Okay, draw this diagram, page number 243. और इस stage में समझ में आए नहीं समझ में आए, आप इसको copy करोगे. See what happens is, examiners, they have been teaching some books all their life. Okay? And for most of them, they are teaching from Savindra Singh. So when they see familiar diagrams from the book, they are happy about it. इसमें ज़्यादा creativity मत करो, यही diagram बना के जाओ. Okay, so page number 243 का diagram है. अच्छा, उसके बाद you have page number 196. Okay, how the hotspot mechanisms and the island chains are formed. Like Hawaiian Islands type form. यही diagram बना के जाना. Make it as simple as possible, but try drawing these diagrams. Page 196 में है ये. Okay. This diagram, page 206. Okay, how the tracing of the hotspots is evidence of tectonics. Okay, so Tumoto archipelago line, Midway Island ka line, you have the Emperor Sea Mount chain. Okay, iska line. Okay, so intraplate volcanism. Okay, draw this diagram. Then you have it's not clearly given in this, the Circum-Pacific belt. Okay, you can look up maybe internet or whatever, your class notes mein hoga. Okay, practice these diagrams, all of you. Okay, so one is you practice the boundaries and what type of, okay. The second thing, write a note on the forces responsible for tectonics. A note on forces responsible for the tectonics. Okay. So forces are slab pull, the gravity pulling down. The forces are ridge push. The forces are convection cells. They are the most powerful ones. Convection cells, which drag the plates, the slab pull, the ridge push. Okay. So the forces are the consequence of Earth's interiors. It's not about sun and moon, it's not about centrifugal force because of Earth's rotation. Yeah. So one technique, see, he's asking me, how can we write this much for 150 words? One technique in any answer writing is to bring an analytical angle. Okay, go deep, and in analytical, you do comparison. So plate tectonics explains continents moving like this, which is unlike what drift theory tells us. And write few lines on drift theory. I'm asking you, tell us how fold mountains are formed. How are they formed? Because of OC collision, because of CC collision. एक paragraph add कर देना. This concept is improvement of Kober's idea of geosyncline mountain building formation. Okay, the fold mountains are unlike volcanic mountains. वहां पर दो लाइन लिख दो आप. So when I ask you a topic A, if you compare with topic B, you have a good, nice discussion which is based on some analysis comparison. ये हर जगह apply कर सकते हो. Write a note on Airy's theory. एक paragraph लिख देना on Pratt's theory. Airy's theory says this, and Airy's theory is unlike Pratt's theory which says this. ठीक है? Yeah? Contrast वाला discussion, yes. ठीक है? That's one good way of having a complete basis of discussion. Okay. So I'm done with tectonics. Mountain building. Okay. Mountain building, they have asked year before last. Okay. 22 में पूछा हुआ है. Suitable sketch of mountain genesis. So you revise your regular notes. Nothing more to add on this. But एक चीज याद रहे, when I say mountain building, you must mention all the 4 types of mountains. Fold mountains, block mountains, volcanic mountains, and also escarpments. The mountains as a consequence of differential erosion. Okay, the mountains because of the edge of the plateau, which has become more prominent. The mountains because of exposure of exposure of plutonic rocks. The dike has got exposed. Okay, so there are 4 types of mountains. What are they? There are fold mountains, there are block mountains, there are volcanic mountains, stratovolcano and composite cones, and there are escarpments. Escarpments are essentially elevations that look like mountains. They can be because of a differential erosion. They can be the consequence of the edge of the plateau, which is very prominent. Think of the Rajmahal Hills of Nagpur Plateau, or think of Garjat Hills or Maikal Hills of Amarkantak Plateau or Amarkantak Highlands. Okay? So differential erosion, the edge of the plateau, or escarpments can also be when plutonic landforms, they get exposed. Exposure of volcanic neck, the volcanic conduit, that can get exposed. The exposure of vertical dikes, the vertical dikes can look like mountains. Okay? So these are the 4 types of mountains. When they ask mountain building, you focus more on fold mountains, but don't ignore the rest. Have one paragraph. Rifting and slippage of blocks can create mountains. Okay, so you have got Western Ghats, you have got Harz Mountains, Sierra Nevada, you have got Satpuras, you have got Vindhyas also for that matter. Okay, volcanic mountains, Kilimanjaro, Mount Fujiyama because of volcanic accumulations and so on. Okay, but fold mountains, you can explain by geosyncline theory, you can explain by plate tectonics theory. इस पे आप focus करो. Okay, the OC mountains and the CC mountains. Okay, just revise once. Okay, and otherwise पूछा हुआ question है 22 में, so I'm not very excited here. Okay, let's move on towards volcanicity. Volcanicity and okay earthquakes. I think ये important topic है इस बार. खासकर earthquakes can be important topic this time. Okay, now see, in case of volcanism, you must write about 4 things. Start the answer with what is volcanism? The process of magma movement, magma erupting, okay, magma forming mountains. Okay, what is volcanism? 1. Number 2, why do we have volcanism? Essentially, they are okay, active geothermal locations. Okay, volcanism because of number 1 convection cells के वजह से होगा, either divergent cells or convergent cells. Okay, divergent cells, more type of volcanism. Convergent cells can give you the trench type of volcanism, which can be archipelagos or which can be volcanoes along okay the Andes type of mountains. I hope आप jotting कर पा रहे हो मेरे साथ में. What is volcanism? Why do we have volcanism? Volcanism primarily because of active geothermal conditions inside the interiors of Earth. Volcanisms related to convergent boundary. Volcanism because of divergent boundary. Okay, all done? The third one is volcanism because of hotspots. Because of hotspots. We call that as intra-plate volcanism. Hawaiian Islands, okay, Deccan lava plateau regions. We have a series of volcanisms along okay, the more systems, the hotspot volcanisms. But था तो ना, okay, अब नहीं active है तो अलग बात है. But it was because of hotspot. आज की डेट में same hotspot gives us the Reunion Islands, okay, near Madagascar. ठीक है, don't ignore that. So why do we have volcanism? ठीक है, अच्छा. The next is, do talk about the process of partial melting. Okay, how partial melting happens. You know, Bowen series, I hope you all know this. Okay, there is pedrotite, there is basalt. Basalt gives us andesite or granite. So talk about the partial melting. Hotspot का mechanism includes mantle plumes. So mantle plumes is that lava coming out, but the whole thing is called as the hotspot. The whole thing is called as the hotspot mechanism. Mantle plume is that lava coming out at the hotspot locations. All fine here? कौन सा? Mantle plume. Mantle plume is the lava rising through the interiors. वो localized lava. Okay, so we typically draw it something like this. Okay, so some hotspot location here, और यहाँ से जो lava निकल रहा है localized. Mantle plume is not a convection cell. Okay, it comes up punctures. Okay, and I have some volcanism here. So this lava coming out is called as mantle plumes. Plume का मतलब क्या है? Feather. The plumes of a bird. Okay, so it looks like a feather coming out, no? Okay, the plumes can become convection cells. They can become convection cells, but right now they are not. ठीक है? So mantle plume is the lava, localized lava rising. The whole thing is called as the hotspot mechanism or intraplate mechanism. Okay. Now I want you to draw 2-3 diagrams on this. So I have taken okay some sketches from the internet itself. आप इसको बनाओ. Okay, I'll draw that for you. So one is the Icelandic hotspot, which is part of your MOR system. Okay, so because Iceland काफी news में रहा है volcanic activity, like this. Now, this is the extension of, okay, the Atlantic Moor. ये Atlantic Moor का ही extension है. This is the Atlantic Moor system here, and these areas will have lot of earthquakes or volcanoes. Earthquakes, volcanoes. This place here, this is the place called as the capital, Reykjavik. The capital यहाँ पर है. Okay. This is called as the Reykjanes, okay, Peninsula. REYKJANES. Okay, Peninsula. Okay, and recent times में this part has been very, very active. Very, very active. यहाँ पर एक volcano है, okay, that is called as Fagra Dals FJLL. I do not know how to pronounce this. Like FAG. ये एक volcano है जो यहीं erupt हुआ है. Okay, this is the volcano. And one of the most active volcanoes is somewhere here. Ijaf Jokul, यहाँ पर है. It's called as EYJAFJALLAJOKUL. Volcano. It's one of the most active volcanoes of Iceland. रैंक इंस्पायर करता है ना, 10, 15, 20, 30 रैंक दौड़ दौड़ के याद होगा. ठीक है. लोकेशन, दिस इज नियर रेजाविक. ये कैपिटल रेजाविक के यहीं पर है. ये जो पेनिनसुला है इसका नाम है रिग्जेंस पेनिनसुला. दिस इज अ वेरी एक्टिव पार्ट ऑफ द इरप्शंस. रिग्जेंस पेनिनसुला एक यहां पर है. ओके, यहां पर यू हैव अ वोल्केनो नियर रेजाविक कॉल्ड एज, okay, Fragads Zafel, whatever it is, volcano. Okay, and this one is the more active one. Rahaya, it has been continuously erupting. ये वाला. Okay, और ये वाला is somewhere here. Reykjanes Peninsula. They ask you hotspot, they ask you any volcanism question में ये चिपका के आना है आपको. करंट अफेयर्स है, लास्ट इरप्शन हुआ है, न्यूज में है. ठीक है. No, these are not fissures, not entirely fissures. They are hotspots. Fissures भी हैं, but not only fissures. They are pretty, okay, strong eruptions हैं यहाँ पर. Okay, this is the part of the Eurasian plate, and this is the part of the American plate. So yes, fissures भी हैं, but you also have some amount of andesitic eruptions also. वो localized, impact के लिए. But these are hotspots. They are mostly basaltic. That's one diagram you'll remember. इसके अलावा, okay, you must remember Hawaii. All of you done here? Now, okay, I'll draw this diagram for all of you. This is Alaska. That's North America. Okay, that's Aleutian Islands here. Okay, and this is Hawaiian Islands. Hawaiian Islands, Hawaiian Islands. यहाँ पर 3-4 नाम याद रखो. Okay, we have Oahu. One of the big ones is called as Oahu Islands. Then we have the Molokai Islands. Molokai Islands. Further northwards, we have Kauai Islands, and these are called as Hawaiian Islands. In Hawaiian Islands, okay, there is one big one. यहाँ पर, this is the ship. इसी को I am expanding. There's one big one. Okay, so we have this region. Okay, we have this region. We have the northern region. Northern region is, ये सब hotspot locations हैं, and they have become mountains. Mauna Kea. This is Mauna Loa. This is Kilau. K-I-L-A-U-E-A. Kilau. Now, these two, they have been active areas. Recently, this has erupted. This is the more active zone. Hawaiian Islands, Molokai Islands, Oahu Islands, O-A-H-U, Molokai, M-O-L-O-K-A-I, Molokai Islands, Oahu Islands, O-A-H-U. उसके नॉर्थ में भी have K-A-U, Kauai Islands. Okay, and we have the main Hawaiian. Main Hawaiian में K-A-U-A-I. Okay, you have got Kilau Islands, Mauna Loa, Kilalu volcanism, Mauna Loa peak, and Mauna Kea peak. Today, there is this arc here, okay, which is a bit more active. यहाँ पे एक arc है. This arc is a bit more active. You've heard about Hawaiian Islands having a lot of forest fires recently. Forest fires, eruptions, and all of that. So, अगर tectonics पूछा, volcanism पूछा, ये दो आप पक्का ड्रॉ करोगे. Volcanism of Iceland, volcanism of Hawaiian Islands. ठीक है? Okay. And linked to this, basaltic eruptions, earthquakes, or whatever you want to say. Apart from this, okay, for discussions on earthquakes, I want this diagram drawn. आप इसको ऐसे ही बनाना. I hope you know what I am drawing. Okay, the Pamirs, this is Kulun Shan, Himalayas, okay, Suleiman and Kirtar ranges. This is Hindu Kush. आज के डेट में this is a very active zone. ये वाला part. This is an active zone of, है तो सारा कुछ. Okay, so good parts of Himalayas active हैं. Again, good parts of Hindu Kush active हैं. So most of the earthquakes of Afghanistan are in the Hindu Kush belt. So Afghanistan का अगर map आपने देखा है, okay, the map of Afghanistan is something like this. ऐसे कुछ map है. It's a long country like this and a small projection towards India here. So Hindu Kush mountains are in this. ये वाले part में you have the Hindu Kush mountains. Okay, and this part of ये जो पूरा southern part of Afghanistan है, these are the earthquake vulnerable zones. इसी बेल्ट में काबुल आता है, हेरात आता है, ठीक है, the southern part. So this is the earthquake vulnerable zone of Afghanistan. ऐसे दिखाओ आप. Not too much of artistic one. Neatly draw and show. ठीक है, all done. Okay. Okay. इसके बाद you also know about Turkey. Yeah. So this is the Anatolia region. ये part जो है, okay, so we have atlas, no, I don't have it here. So something like this. This is Turkey. This is Saudi Arabia. Okay, a bit northwards here. This side is Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. This is the Caspian Sea. Okay, so this part is Turkey. Is Turkey region mein, you have got one major fault here. You have got one major fault here. This is called as East Anatolia fault. This is called as East Anatolia fault. This is called as the North Anatolia fault. Okay, this is the Arabian plate. The Arabian plate. This is part of Eurasian plate. Okay, and these areas you have got, okay, seismic activities. So Turkey में यहाँ earthquake हुआ है. This part here, southern part. So by the way, all of you will get certain collection of case studies from us. In that case study, some of this is more detailed. Okay, so remind yourself, look up the case study booklet or whatever. Okay, उससे आप और detail पढ़ लेना. So Anatolia fault, Turkey, East Anatolia fault, North Anatolia fault. The eastern fault is a more active zone. It is the boundary between the Arabian plate, Eurasian plate. ठीक है? All good? So tectonics, volcanism, earthquakes में, you'll use these 4-5 diagrams. Countries, Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. Okay, ये तीन belt. This is the Caucasian mountains. North, also north में है Caucasian mountains. All fine here? Okay. And the rest, I believe you understand what is the reason for earthquakes, what are the zones of earthquakes, you can take off from there. ठीक है? Okay, let's come back now. So I'm done with volcanicity, earthquakes, okay. Now, some discussions on isostasy. Isostasy, I think, is an important, yes, Soumya, we'll upload all of that for you. Okay, you will get 4 things from us. One is the practice questions ka list milega aapko. The second thing you'll get from us is, okay, the L1, L2 questions, the bank that we are giving you. The third thing is you'll get the case studies from us, okay, plus whatever test you give us, uske bhi model answers. Yeah, PYQ of last 5 years also, correct. Abhishek, correct. Okay, so not all of which must have been uploaded right now, but we have already uploaded 2 things. L1, L2 ho chuka upload, and second, the practice questions ka answer ho chuke upload. So today's day, I told all of you, okay, the day I'm saying geography, you spend the whole day with only geography. से क्लास खत्म होने के बाद भी घर जाकर यही रिवाइज करो. I'm trying to cover all the topics whatever I can. You go back and revise quickly with your synopsis, class notes and answers. ठीक है? Okay, let's move on. So isostasy. Okay. So 4-5 things. Number one is, what is isostasy? Okay. Mechanical balance. It's a way how the material gets distributed on the Earth's surface. Okay. If you know about Booger, who discovered isostasy in some ways. Okay. So one paragraph, what is it? Next is a good write-up on what is Pratt's concept of isostasy and what is Airy's concept of isostasy. And you must have a comparison between them, Airy's concept and Pratt's concept. George Airy and Archdeacon Pratt. So 5-6 points. Airy's isostasy is flotation principle. Pratt's isostasy is compensation principle. Likh lo please all of you. Even if you know this, it will help you revise. Okay. This is the flotation principle. This is, okay, the compensation principle. Okay. Number 2, Airy's theory is about equal density landforms, okay, floating on some substrate. Equal density landforms floating on some substrates. Whereas Pratt's model is, okay, landforms of varying density supported by some substrate. This is floating on the substrate. This is supported by the substrate. Uniform density, varying density. Airy's theory is, okay, mountains have roots. Mountains have roots. Pratt's theory is, okay, there are no roots, there is a plane of compensation. There are no roots, there is a plane of compensation. Okay. The compensation plane jo hai is where the density variations gets compensated. That plane of compensation is where the density variations, whatever difference of density we have, uske niche sara equal ho jata hai. I'm sure you know all the diagrams on this. Okay. So no roots, a flotation, compensation. Equal density landforms, varying density landforms. ठीक है? Draw the diagrams. अच्छा. In Airy's theory, okay, the idea is that okay, the mountains or landforms attain stability because of, okay, they attain stability because of, okay, the material that is found under the Earth's crust, or under the Earth's surface, sorry. The stability is because of the material under the Earth's surface. Under the Earth's surface. Okay, that's why the roots stabilize Airy's case mein. In case of Pratt, the stabilization is because of, if you know a sentence, okay, equal masses underlie equal areas. Equal masses underlie equal areas. I hope you can okay, explain this in proper details. Okay, okay, now two people who supported Pratt, one is Hayford, the second is Bowie. Hayford and Bowie supported. So अगर Hayford या Bowie का थ्योरी पूछेगा, आप Pratt लिख के आओगे. Don't do anything more beyond that. Okay. The man who supported Airy was Arthur Holmes. Arthur Holmes' theory of isostasy is almost same as Airy's theory. So if they ask you Airy's theory, तो आप लिख दोगे. अगर Holmes पूछेगा, आप Airy ही लिख के आओगे. ठीक है, all of you? So now you can write on 4 or 5 theories. What is Airy's theory? What is Pratt's theory? If they ask you Hayford, Bowie, आप Pratt ही लिख के आना. Okay. Just keep telling that it was Hayford, okay, accepting Pratt's ideas. If they ask you Arthur Holmes, you say Airy, accepting, Airy's theory as given by him. Okay. Now I'll read out some lines. Root theory, Abhishek, is Airy's theory. Airy's theory is root theory. Okay, now you open up your textbook if you have it with you, Isostasy chapter mein. Page number 137. Page 137. Okay, I'm reading out some lines of Arthur Holmes' concept. Okay, diagram is use karna aap. It says the views of Arthur Holmes on isostasy to a large extent is compatible with the views of Airy. Following Airy, Holmes also assumed that the upstanding parts are made up of lighter material. In order to balance them, major portions of his columns are submerged in a greater depth of lighter material. Okay, the low density hai, they go deeper down. Higher the columns, okay, because lighter material is below them for greater depth. ये चीज repeat कर रहे हैं. And I want this diagram drawn. So can you all spend maybe 2 minutes and draw this diagram, all of you? Okay, draw this diagram. Okay, there is a Sial, Seema. Sial, the Seema floor underneath. The root is here. 2.7 density, 3 density. ये lighter है, thicker है और deep है. Okay, mountain, plains, platform. No big deal. It's a very simple diagram. All done? Yes, correct. Today is like a marathon for geomorphology. ठीक है, fine. बैठे बैठे हम रिवाइज ही तो कर रहे हैं और क्या कर रहे हैं. All done? Now, one interesting point here is, he says, ये बन गया, सब बन गया? Okay. It says that Holmes attempted to explain and illustrate the concept of equal weight along the line of equal pressure. ये आप ऐड कर लेना. Arthur Holmes explains isostasy in terms of the concept of level of equal pressure. What he's saying is, ये जो line है ना, ये line, this line is where the pressure is same. Okay, the pressure of this much mass, okay, is same as the pressure of this much mass. This is lighter, so the thickness will be more. this is not light, heavy है, इसका thickness कम हो जाएगा. Okay, so the Mohs discontinuity जो है, that is nothing but the level of equal pressure. Okay, let me try again. This is like this. Watch here. Say this is a body with mass m1, a body of mass m1, a body of mass m1, density d1, d1, d1. So can you all imagine, अगर तीनों का size एक ही है, the level same depth में, the pressure will be same everywhere. ठीक है? Okay. Now for example, ये हल्का material है. Okay. So for mass m1, you realize I must have a larger size because it is d0 which is less than d1. Okay. This is a heavier matter. So a smaller mass, okay, is enough for the same mass. The smaller size is same mass. ये m1 है, ये भी m1 है. Okay. In this case, d2 is more than d1. This is even more heavier. A smaller size, it has m1, where d3 is much larger than d1. Okay. Because larger, तो यहां पर जितना weight होगा, इसका weight यहां पर उतना ही होगा. If I join this, can you see this line here? Like this? I hope you got the point here. So Arthur Holmes says there is a level of equal pressure, and that depends on the density of the bodies. जितना हल्का होगा, उतना बड़ा size चाहिए. So the level of equal pressure will be deeper. जितना भारी होगा, dense होगा, कम size चाहिए. The level of equal pressure will be at a higher level. In reality, this is nothing but the Mohs discontinuity. Can you all understand this? No problem here. Okay. So अगर Arthur Holmes पूछता है, you will add this idea. And my suggestion, अगर नहीं भी पूछता है, if they ask you Airy's theory, write one paragraph on Arthur Holmes also. See, in the competition, what happens is, if others can do something, you do 2 points more. So Airy's theory, everybody will write down. Okay. What most will not write is few lines on Arthur Holmes theory. Okay. अगर Pratt भी पूछेगा, तभी मैं लिख दूंगा. Because Pratt's line of compensation is something like the level of equal pressure. It's just that in Pratt's case, okay, it is a straight line. In this case, the line has, okay, different elevations. So come back to your textbook ones. Okay. Arthur Holmes has attempted to explain and illustrate the concept of equal weight along the level of equal pressure through the examples of columns. अब इसमें देखो. This is page 138 देखो. And I'll say draw this diagram. This is a plateau very high. Okay. This is a plateau which is smaller. This is a plateau or plain near the sea. So for this one, the thickness is more. This is where the equal pressure applies. This is a more dense one. तो इसमें ऊपर का density 2.8 है, नीचे 3.3 density है. Okay. So इसका equal pressure थोड़ा यहाँ पर आ जाएगा. It becomes smaller. Okay. This will become even smaller. So this M is nothing but the Mohs discontinuity, like this. Okay. So it says here, there are 4 columns, 4 kilometer, 1 kilometer, and so on. Each column has some thickness. The figure indicates density. M indicates Mohs discontinuity. The weight of each column along the equal pressure almost the same, and so on. All done here? So if they ask you Arthur Holmes' theory of isostasy, you write ARE properly and add this diagram and add the concept of level of equal pressure. All good? Okay. So, वो कुछ भी question पूछे, your answer must have one paragraph on Arthur Holmes. ARE पूछेगा तो automatic हो जाएगा, Pratt पूछेगा तो indirectly आएगा. But make your answer a bit more richer. ठीक है? So, isostasy topic is done. Okay. Now come towards geomorphic cycles. Okay. So, Davis-Penck, I don't think I will teach you anything right now. Davis, stage, senile, young. Look at the notes, all of you. Young में क्या क्या होता है? Small river, deep cutting, deep valleys, no summit erosion. Mature stage, wider valleys, some summit erosion. Okay, senile stage, no deepening, only valley widening. I hope you can do all of that. Okay, now in Davis theory, you must know 5 concepts. Okay, you must know that a landform is a product of structure, process, stage. Okay, you should know that. Landform is a product of structure, process, and stage. Okay, elaborate on that. Second concept you should know is the concept of geomorphic cycle. The geomorphic cycle concept means 3-4 things. It means, okay, it is time dependent. It means landforms have a predictive sequence in their formation. Okay, it time dependent hai, predictive sequence hai. It also means it is repetitive. Okay, the cycles can get repetitive. And the cycle concept is also, okay, related to the concept of uniformitarianism. If they ask you what is geomorphic cycle, आप इसको करोगे elaborate. Time dependent, slow, gradual, predictive changes, and it's a concept inspired also by, okay, the concept of uniformitarianism. The third thing you should know about Davis is the concept of normal cycle. Normal means what? Normal means, okay, it is a time-based model. Normal means it represents a cool, temperate, humid type of climatic conditions. Time model, okay, a cool, temperate, humid conditions. Normal also means only river erosion. Only river erosion. Normal means constancy of base level, or we also call that as crustal stability. Constancy of base level or crustal stability. Okay. Normal models are always deductive models. They have generalizations which they apply for all type of conditions. Okay. So, Davis normal cycle model. They can ask you this concept because I think the word geomorphic cycle has not been asked for some time now. Okay, acha. The next concept of Davis you should know is that Davis is the closed systems analogy. Davis is a closed systems analogy. So, when I say closed systems, okay, what do I mean? Closed systems are, one, time-based. Closed systems are predictive models. Closed systems have only one terminus possible. एक ही end state है closed systems में. Closed systems can't be reversed. They can't be controlled either. They can't be controlled, they can't be reversed. There's only one terminal state. Okay? Okay. And in closed systems, okay, there is no possibility of any intermediate states. There's no possibility of any intermediate states. Who said this about Davis model? Richard Shorley and B.J.L. Berry. Richard Shorley and B.J.L. Berry discuss Davis model in the closed systems analogy. In the closed systems analogy. All good? Davis model done? Achha. Now I will suggest, if you guys can understand this and maybe use this. Page 66. This graphical depiction. Dekho, in the U stage, the summit does not change much. The valley deepening is rapid. And the valley is narrow. In the mature stage, the summit starts falling and the base also starts falling. And the river is now widening. Okay? In the senile stage, the base is almost constant near the base level. And the summit starts falling rapidly. And again, the valley has now become broader and low height. So, this above line is the line of the summits. The lower line is the line of the valley floor. The gap between them is what? Relative height. Okay? In the youthful stage, the relative height does not change much. Initially almost constant rahega, highest rahega. Then the relative height increases. Then again relative height will fall. Ye graph samajh mein aa raha all of you? Okay. 4 things. Summits are high, not changing much, then they start falling. The valley floor is falling from beginning itself. Initially, the relative relief is increasing. But increase becomes more rapid in the mature phase. Senile phase mein, the relative height is now reducing. And this is the valley, this is narrow valley. This is the wide valley. This is a very, very wide valleys. The valley is widening. Summit is falling. So, ye graph use kar lena. You always add. Yeah. You can always widen that, no problem. It's low-lying relief, almost flat topography ban jata hai. Is that as good as almost flat? Halka sa hi reh jata hai. You modify that. Okay? So my suggestion is, ye diagram use karna in your Davis model. Stage-wise changes. Compare this with Pink's model. Pink's model mein, by the way, in this you see one thing. That in initial stage, there is no value, there is no erosion at all. Erosion, ye erosion chal raha hai ye wala. Yahan pe hai hi nahi na. So when the landform is being uplifted, the zero stage hai, yahan par there is no erosion going on. Whereas in Pink's model, the erosion starts earlier. Yahan par erosion ho raha hai. Pink's model, you can see, the height is increasing, the relative height is also increasing. So this is a phase when you have got acceleration. This is your waxing stage. Yahan par the difference remains the same. This is the phase of constant growth. And then the difference reducing. The phase of Okay, vanning. The concave ones are called as Halden hangs, जो base बना आपका. The steep slopes are called as Bostons. ठीक है? So you can compare this and show with Davis model. ठीक है, all of you? Okay. So this is about Davis model. Okay. This is page 71. Page 71 and page 66. So today after class, whenever I leave you, okay, sit for whatever time required. और ये सारा खत्म करना, आज ही खत्म करना. You can't come back on geomorphology again. Remember this. और आपका टेस्ट यही संडे है. I'm almost revising the whole geomorphology for you. The factors affecting landforms, mountain building, drift theory, tectonics, isostasy, geosynclines, Davis and Penck. I'm doing that for you. Okay, इससे fast आप कर नहीं भी पाओगे अपने आप. So today itself you finish all of this revision and then you give your test. Go back and revise all the model answers I've given you. More or less, okay, the model answers में where did I keep it? Here. Okay. So some of these topics are given as answers in form itself. Okay, say what are the type of volcanoes, how does Himalayan upliftment happen, concept of sea floor spreading. So a lot of concepts you can revise directly from the model answers of L1 and L2 I have given you. ये देखो, if all can see this. Okay, evidence of ongoing process of Himalayan upliftment. Question number 7, question number 8. Okay, volcanoes and different type of volcanoes. Okay, what is the drift theory? Okay, and how they are logically possible but wrong. Okay, so drift theory. What are earthquake swarms? So lot of things are there in this. What is isostasy of Pratt and Airy? अगर यही देख लेते हो ना, वो रिवीजन हो गया आपका. Okay, and same you look at some of the practice questions also. What is uniformitarianism? ठीक है, इसको छोड़ दो. Paleomagnetic evidence of drift theory, you can leave it because not asked now. Fine, can I move on? Let's get back now. Now for Penck's theory, okay, Davis have done. For Penck's theory, okay, now one, it is a process theory, time independent theory. Okay, it studies the balance of endogenic and exogenic processes. It details the role of structure also. Okay, size of texture, steepness of slopes. Okay, I repeat, process theory, time independent theory. Okay, it studies the interaction between endogenic and exogenic, okay, forces. Okay, it also details the role of structure. So Davis mention करते हैं, but doesn't tell us how. But this man explains that slopes matter, hardness of rocks matter, texture of rocks matters. He has done this. Okay. Now Penck's model therefore has a strong influence of geological concept because he himself was a geologist. And he talks about phases. Okay, phases because he believes the interaction goes through not time dependence, but goes through some type of associations. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, and so on. So there are 3 phases of Penck's model. The growth phase, okay, acceleration, the constant growth, and we have the waning phase. The waxing, the constant growth, and the waning phase. Okay. Growth case mein, the slopes are all convex. In the constant growth, the slopes are all straight lines. And in the waning phase, the slopes are all concave. Halden hangs are concave slopes. Okay. Bostons are convex slopes. I believe these terms you all know. Okay. Now, as a discussion, you will discuss three things. One is how Penk's model is a process theory, because interaction of endogenic, exogenic, fast upliftment, slow upliftment, and so on. Explain that, how it is a process theory. One. Number two, explain how Penk is an open systems concept. Penk is an open systems concept. Right? And third is, okay, explain Penk in terms of, okay, climatic geomorphology. Penk in terms of climatic geomorphology. ये बताया आपको मैंने कि for him climate matters, unlike normal theory of Davis. Open system because, okay, there is no time dependency. The model is not predictive model. There is no final state in case of Penk. सब उल्टा, जो डेविस बताया था सब उल्टा हो जाएगा. Okay. Penk's model can be reversible also. Upliftment can again start happening and so on. In Penk's model, there is no sequence कि waxing के बाद पक्का you will have constant growth. ऐसा नहीं है. There is no sequence in terms of stages. ठीक है? So for a long time, they have not asked Penk. I just have a feeling they might ask you in some way. Okay, so what is Penk's model? Describe the phases. अगर Penk पूछेगा, do add one paragraph on Davis also. Or Davis पूछेगा, add one paragraph on Penk. So in any question possible, always have a comparative discussion. All good here? No, Devika, don't say Penk is polycyclic. एक तो Penk is non-cyclic model. Penk is time independent model. तो polycyclic का तो बात ही नहीं उठता है. There is no question of polycyclic model of Penk, because Penk dismisses the idea of cycle. Cycle means time, cycle means prediction, cycle means, okay, evolution. Wo Penk is not accepting that idea at all. All good here? Okay, now, for the benefit of all of you, briefly, what is the equilibrium model? Okay? What is the equilibrium model? आपको इसमें एक model answer मिला होगा. But I'll explain this a bit more. What is equilibrium model? So, one is, equilibrium models are generally process models. They are generally process models. So, these models tell us that any landform is essentially, okay, a function of, okay, two counter forces. And the landform is a type of balance of the two forces. There are two counter forces. Okay, and the landform is the consequence of the balance. The landform represents the equilibrium of, okay, two countering forces. Okay. In general, equilibrium models, they are not cyclical models. In fact, most of them, they are dismissive of time as a factor. They are non-cyclic models. In fact, equilibrium models are considered as an alternative to a Davissian model. The alternative to Davissian models, equilibrium models. Okay, कि कोई दो forces हैं, उनका balance is what creates a landform. Okay, now this word equilibrium was used much later. but he find equilibrium models at different scholars' studies. So one of the first one जिसमें दिखता है is Gilbert's theory. Gilbert is older than Davis. So Gilbert said something. He said landforms are the product of driving and resisting forces. Gilbert said this. Driving forces are the internal forces. The resisting forces are the hardness of the rock and its weight. Okay, so landform hai. Driving force is the endogenic forces, which is volcanism. And the resisting force is the weight that we have here. Okay, if the volcanism is more powerful, this will rise up. If the weight is more stronger, okay, the landform remains somewhere there. So I said, no, any equilibrium is about two forces countering. So for Gilbert, the driving force was volcanism, internal, and the resisting force was the weight from the top. Okay? Achha. The second example of equilibrium theory is even Penck's model. For Penck's model, the landform is an interaction between the endogenic and the exogenic. The exogenic that erodes and the endogenic that creates. So Penck is also an example of an equilibrium approach. Landforms are the product of the interactions between the endogenic and the exogenic. So waxing stage mein, the endogenic is more powerful. Landform is rising, accelerating. In the waning phase, the denudation is more powerful. So landform is now reducing. Okay? Achha. Then we have a third example of equilibrium is J.T. Hack. J.T. Hack comes much later, 1950s mein aa rahe hain, Hack. Okay, he gave a concept called as lithological control of landform development. Lithological control of landform development. So J.T. Hack says the landforms are the expression of, okay, the rock hardness that resists, okay, erosion or upliftment. It is lithological, a hardness of rock controls. Okay, lithological control of landform development. It is the hardness of rock that resists denudation or it resists the endogenic forces. Kitna hard rock hai. Okay. Lithology controls what type of landforms we have. Okay. And you find equilibrium theory also in the model of Stroller. Stroller's slope theory hai. दोनों साथ लिखते हैं, AN and AH we write together. कि बाप बेटे हैं, भाई भाई हैं, whatever they are. ठीक है, we write both. Stroller and Stroller लिख देते. Okay. So what they had said is that slopes represent a balance. The slopes represent a balance between, okay, the sediments accumulation and the rate of their removal. Sediments accumulation and the rates of their removal. The slopes are so balanced to effect, the slopes are so balanced as to effect the most efficient removal of sediments from the slope. To effect the most efficient removal of sediments of the slope. Slope, sediments accumulation and the removal. Okay. तो slope ऐसा, now see, he says, this is nature's tendency, इसमें why नहीं पूछते हैं. Okay. The nature's tendency is the sediments must be removed as quickly as possible. So if there are too much of sediments, the slopes automatically will become steep. अगर less sediments हैं, the slopes will become gentle. So the slopes represent that balance. कैसे slope होगा so that sediments can be removed. This is the equilibrium theory of slopes according to Stoller. Now see, although I don't expect they'll ask equilibrium model, they ask, fine, good for us. अगर नहीं भी पूछेगा, add this in a paragraph. Okay, so if they ask you Davis theory, write one paragraph on how Davis theory was countered by equilibrium theory. How Davis theory was countered by Peng's theory. It's something like, analogy case mein, say I have a smart watch with me and I want to show off. ठीक है, what will I do? आप कुछ भी बोलो, कैसे हो? हाँ, आजकल मैं ठीक हूं, घड़ी देखकर. कहां जा रहे हो? अच्छा मैं उधर जा रहा हूं, घड़ी दिखाकर. ठीक है, कहां रहते हो? ओके, घड़ी दिखाकर मैं उधर रहता हूं. You have something that you know beyond what others know. Make a ground to flaunt that smartly. अगर पेंग पूछेगा, पेंग लिख दिया मैंने एंड में, पेंग is one example of an equilibrium theory. लिख दो 2 लाइन. Compare contrast Davis Peng. Okay, add the idea called equilibrium theory again. So see, you have to know some of these. जैसे कि I've taught you Iceland. You know something about Hawaiian Islands. Okay, now look for conditions जहां पर ये आप डाल सकते हो. Disasters, earthquakes, volcanism, changing earth. Okay, कहीं पर 2-3 वर्ड दिखाई दिया. Force that one diagram on your paper. Is it okay, all of you? So Arthur Holmes, isostasy. Okay, so कुछ भी question पूछेगा isostasy में, I'll add one paragraph on. Arthur Holmes says something like this. Pratt पूछा, Pratt लिख दिया. Okay, Pratt was countered by Aries, okay, who was supported by Arthur Holmes. फिर बोलो Arthur Holmes क्या है? It's like, I have by hearted, okay, the essay called as Mango Tree. आप मुझे कुछ भी पूछो. Write an essay on summers. Summer is famous for mangoes. Mangoes grow on mango tree. चालू हो गया mango tree. Write a story on cow. The cow is sitting under the mango tree. Okay, and mango tree is starting off again. Is it okay, all of you? Okay, so use this concept in wherever you can find a scope to discuss it. ठीक है? Okay. Now see, slope replacement and the slope decline models. Okay, so let me take up those now quickly. What are the slope theories? What are the slope theories? I know we have gone for quite some time now. अब सुबह से बैठे हुए हो, but life में means hopefully एक ही बार आना चाहिए. ठीक है? So be okay with it. Online, are you all fine? देखता हूँ कितने भाग गए. Oh wow, most of you have stayed back. Now I am a firm believer of marathon studies. मुझसे वो आधा घंटा 1 घंटा पढ़ाई नहीं होता. या तो नहीं पढ़ूंगा, सो जाऊंगा, तो marathon sleep. Okay, I can sleep for 2 days at a stretch. Okay, pressure बन गया. ठीक है, all of you take a 5 minutes break. Go take a bio break. पानी पी लो. We don't want any embarrassment in the classroom or in the room where you're sitting. Take 5 minutes break. Go drink water. Take a bio break and come back. Say result हो ना हो. ठीक है. Looking back, you must be proud about the fact यार घिस के पढ़ाई तो हुई थी. Okay, ये रिग्रेट नहीं रहे कि यार काश और पढ़ लेता. I could have done that. I could have done that. That's a very painful realization. Okay. हाँ, go take a break. हाँ, बताओ, tell me. यहाँ कहाँ करेंगे आप? हाँ, क्लासरूम में. आप नीचे कर लीजिए, फर्स्ट फ्लोर में. ओके वो रूम है, उनको साथ नीचे, रूम खाली है ना हमारा, उनको ले जाओ नीचे। How do we tackle unexpected questions in exam? Akhil, those type of questions, they might ask one or two of them, and they will not decide your actual score. What decides your scores are those questions that you should have known. Okay, so we'll come to those questions afterwards. But let's finish off geomorphology, whatever you should have known. कितना पेज लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? 4-5 pages, okay. Stuti, toppers copy. I'll see, I can provide some of them, but most of them are on different Telegram channels. सब टॉपर ने अपना दुकान खोल रखा है. Suddenly find UPSC is very attractive, उनको बड़ी इज्जत मिलती है यहाँ पर. Okay, so in most cases the copies are the channels themselves. Okay, and I'll see if I have some of them. I can share those. In fact, there are 2-3 toppers. They got very good marks, 290 plus types. They have reached out. I mean, rather, I reached out to them, requesting if they can mentor you guys on some days maybe. So if it's okay with you, I'll call them over. They can sit down with you. So I was waiting कि पहले कुछ लिख लो आप लोग. Then you can sit down with them and discuss with them maybe. ठीक है. Online, I do not know how to help you guys. How will they connect with you? I'll see. I'll work out something. I'm not live on Zoom. Abhishek, क्या मतलब था? मैं समझ में नहीं आया. Host is not live on Zoom. मैं Zoom में क्यों करूँगा? Okay, we are doing it on our dashboard, and for marketing purpose, I'm also on the YouTube for 1 or 2 days. Okay. The same way what I am doing, let the toppers do. Let me ask them if they can do it. I'll tell them that they don't want to see my face, they want to see the topper's face. Visham, let me see. Okay? Let me ask them. I thought that you're looking for me, but okay, you humbled me today. Okay? Unnecessarily, I was getting overconfident. So let's get back. Okay, slope theories. Slope theories में, okay, yeah. Largely yes, but there is one element of time in some of the process theories also. After the 1950s, one is the tectonics model of Morisawa, and there is this J.T. Hack's theory. They have some element of time. Okay, so generally process theories are time independent, but J.T. Hack and Morisawa, they've added time also in some other way. But all of them are non-cyclic theories. Because many of the cases his work has been translated, but by and large, let's keep him as time independent. Okay? See, when you get into that level of research, tab ye bariki aayega. Otherwise, for our level, we're good enough. Okay, let's get back into slope theories now. Slope theories mein, be careful about whether the question is asking you landform development or is asking you slope development. अगर landform पूछ रहा है, then Davis normal cycle, Peng's whatever, you know that. अगर slope पूछ रहा है, then Davis model now becomes a slope decline model. ठीक है? Peng's model will become a slope, a replacement model, and L.C. King's model is slope, a retreat model. So be very careful on this. What are they going to ask you? King's model is also called as epigene model. It's also called as the model of pediplenation. Okay. It's also called as a back wasting model. Know these 3-4 names. In fact, some of them also say that L.C. King's model is also not exactly same, but very similar to the savanna cycle of erosion. if they ask you savanna cycle of erosion, okay, one of the versions is, okay, LC King. Savanna cycle में बाकी models भी हैं. Okay, because I remember in 1 year they asked epigene model and most people did not know क्या पूछा है. Okay, because in one small corner of the textbook they mentioned that LC King is also epigene model. So know some alternate names here. Achha. Now, the basic premise of Penck and Davis in slope is same. Davis is historical, okay, Davis is time dependent, okay, Davis is evolution model, okay, it's a closed system. Yes, सारे concepts same रहेंगे. You'll have no problems there. Same way Penck's model is time independent, Penck's model is process theory, Penck's model is stage-based model. Those basic concepts are same. What will change is how they explain the slope changes. Okay, so for Davis, जो slope evolution है, it happens in following ways. आपको आंसर में ये 4-5 याद हो तो the answer is done. How slope evolution happens? It always happens, okay, from top to bottom. It always happens from top towards the bottom. Okay, how it happens? The slopes reduce in steepness. That's why you call this as decline model. The slopes will reduce in steepness. How it happens? Okay, the convex slopes, okay, evolve into concave slopes. The convex slopes, they evolve into concave slopes. In this process, okay, the main change is a time dependent. It is a stage based change. The age decides what type of slope. Okay, so young slopes are convex, mature slopes are a straight rectilinear, and senile slopes are concave. Senile slopes are concave. And he talks about this whole thing happening under normal cycle conditions. Okay. The moment I say normal cycle condition का मतलब क्या होता है? There is no, okay, change in the base level. Is normal cycle condition, no change in base level. It is representative of cool, temperate latitudes, and it is the work of erosion by the rivers. Okay. Yes, Soumya. Top to bottom, that's why it's also called as down a wasting model. Or because it is a stage based, so we also call this as the historical approach. आपके notes में ना ये synopsis होने चाहिए थे. If you look at your class notes, this is across maybe 2 pages or 3 pages. Okay, synopsis में आधे पेज से भी कम में you fit this in. You just revise these points, that's all. ठीक है? So Davis model, historical approach, slope evolution, again the 4-5 points. Top towards bottom, slopes reduce in steepness. There's decline of slopes, so slope decline model. Okay, the slopes evolve from convex towards concave, it is time changes, normal cycle changes, and so on. Okay? So that is Davis model. Now when I say a Pink's model, this is the model of slope replacement. Now slope replacement mein what's happening? Okay, slope replacement, what happens? In slope replacement, okay, one is that the slope changes happens from bottom towards top. The slope changes happens from bottom towards top. So ये उल्टा है. This is top towards bottom. This is from bottom towards top. That is one. Second is the steep slopes are replaced by gentle slopes from below. The steep slopes are replaced by gentle slopes from below. From below also means from under the surface. From below. Okay. And the gentle slopes, they grow in length. The gentle slopes, they grow in length. They become longer. And next is that the slope type is a function of the phase of the slope development. The slope type is the function of the phase of slope development. So, in this case, waxing slope means upliftment is more than erosion. यहाँ पर होगा convex. यहाँ पर time based नहीं है. It's about the processes. Waxing slope, upliftment is more than erosion. You have convex. The phase of constant growth, that summit erosion is equal to summit, okay, upliftment. Sorry, is equal to, okay, is equal to, okay, valley bottom erosion. The summit erosion is equal to constant growth. The phase of constant growth. The summit erosion is equal to, okay, the erosion of the valley floor. ठीक है, जिसमें कि we say the relative height remains constant. Okay, the relative height remains. इसमें क्या है? The upliftment is equal to erosion. In this case, you will have straight slopes. Upliftment more than erosion. Upliftment is equal to erosion. Okay, and the third one is the vanning. Vanning phase is a phase where erosion is more than upliftment. Erosion is more than upliftment. You will have concave slopes. ठीक है? So the convex ones are called as Boschgens. The concave is called as Haldenhangs. Boschgens and Haldenhangs. And I hope you can recall this diagram. Okay? So straight and longer, straight and longer, okay, and something like this. So this again straight and longer, and ultimately end somewhere here. So the slope changes from bottom towards the top. हाँ, convex Boschgen है, and concave जो है, it is Haldenhangs. Okay, और बाकी same concepts, process theory है, time independent है, climatic geomorphology है, all of that remains same. इसी के basis पे ये दो diagram है, you can compare, contrast also, no problem. Okay. Now you come towards Okay, the L.C. King's model. L.C. King's model. Somebody is celebrating prelims after 1 week or 10 days. ठीक है, होता है, रिजल्ट नहीं देखते हैं, बाद में देखा होगा शायद. Okay, L.C. King's model, 4-5 things. One is, this is basically, you can say, it uses the concept of Davis and that of Penck. Okay, Davis से क्या क्या लिया इन्होंने? Davis से he has taken the idea of stage, the idea of cycle. From Davis, he has taken the concept of normal cycle. From Davis, he has taken the concept of, to some extent also, crustal stability. Okay, this is borrowed from Davis model. The stage idea, the cycle idea, there is no upliftment, okay, and normal cycle is from Davis. Okay, there is this is also therefore is partly historical approach. Penck से क्या लिया इन्होंने? That the slope changes from bottom towards the top. The slope changes happens from bottom towards the top. ठीक है? This is Penck's model, and from Penck's model, he also talks about that lithology controls. Lithology and structure has an important role in landform changes. ठीक है? Lithology and structure, rocks, even they matter. Okay, and then he has taken one idea from A. Woods. From A. Woods' model, he has talked about the role of a scarp face. कि scarp face का बहुत important role है. Scarp face, the vertical face. Okay, that if a landform or slope does not have the vertical face, he said very clearly, my model will not operate. I need to have a scarp face. Achha. Then he talked about one more very important concept. He said that one important consideration is there is immediate removal of sediments from the base of the slope. इसमें accumulation नहीं होने वाला. Okay, whatever sediments come and accumulate here, it is removed very efficiently. This is what is called as the concept of basal sapping is efficient. The process of removal of sediments from the base is called as basal sapping. Basal sapping is very efficient in case of L.C. King's model. S-A-P-P-I-N-G, basal sapping. B-A-S-A-L-S-A-P-P-I-N-G. Basal sapping is very efficient. Okay. Now, for this condition, इस condition के लिए, he said 3 things. He said, number 1, that my system is in dry and semi-arid areas, which he called as the normal conditions. My system operates in savanna landscape, because savanna में ऐसे होता है. Dry conditions हैं, they can be easily removed by agents of denudation. So for basal sapping effectiveness, he said that the model operates for dry conditions, semi-arid areas and savanna landscapes. Okay. Because of this, he said, okay, he needs a scarp face. Because if scarp face hoga, sediments can fall very fast and get removed. Okay, scarp face is an important consideration for basal sapping. And the third important he talks about is the river moves at the base of the slope. Okay, river यहाँ base में चल रहा है. So river can remove the sediments very effectively. The main role of rivers is basal sapping. This idea again is the reverse role is also taken from Pink's model. The river performs basal sapping primarily. Yes, the agents of removal of sediments. Correct. All fine here. So इतने में आपका okay, LC King का description analysis दोनों हो गया more or less. Okay. Then okay, he says that there are two aspects okay of slope changes, and he calls the slope change as a slope retreat model. He says there are two aspects. Two aspects का क्या है? One is okay the scarp retreat is one important aspect of the model, and the second aspect of the model is the process of pediplanation. Scarp retreat and pediplanation, they both operate together okay, for a slope retreat process. Okay. Now in this slope retreat and pediplanation, you must remember three things. One is the slope changes happens from below. The slope changes happens from below. Okay. Second, in the slope changes, the angle and the slope length remains the same. Pink's model mein, okay, the angle becomes less and the slope becomes longer. In case of LC King, the angle remains same and the slope length also remains same, but जो lower most segment है, that becomes gentle and it grows longer. The slope change happens from below. The slope angle and the slope length remain the same, and okay, the lowermost segment of the slope that becomes gentle and also grows in length. So diagram, if you all can remember, okay, the lowermost one, this becomes gentle and longer. उसके बाद में all other segments have the same length and angle, the same length and angle, the same length and angle. So ये same है. Okay, next iteration में this becomes gentle, this becomes longer, all other segments okay, same length, same angle, same length, same angle, same length. So this is 90, 90, 90. This angle is same as this angle, is same as this angle. Okay, इधर दिखाते हैं, sorry. You always show the angle on the acute side. Okay, and this is same as, this is same as this. So I hope you can recall all of these facts from your notes, whatever you have. Okay, that's your okay, model of LC King. And LC King talks about three phases or three stages. Yes, I'll help you. In fact, I'll do it now. There are three stages. Now, I think this can be a question. Three stages of LC King's model. There is youth, there is maturity, and there is senile. Okay, there is youth, mature, and senile. ठीक है, आपको हम दिखाई देते हैं. Okay, LC King is the one which has been asked thrice now. Okay, Boston, Halden, Hang पूछा है. They've asked Epigene model and how LC King borrows. So तीनों बार LC King पूछा हुआ है. Okay, so we might as well spend some more time on LC King's model. Yeah, just a minute. You have it in 2 pages. One is page 70 to 73, and you also have it in page 286. In 70 to 73, it is generally the landform development model of L.C. King. And page number 286. 286, 287. I'll show you both, okay? So here we go. So L.C. King's model, okay. So ये terms, a landscape, epigene, a hill slope, arid, semi-arid. Sorry, दिख रहा है नहीं दिख रहा है? Yeah, a semi-arid savanna cycle of South Africa, landform in varying environment conditions. Okay, fine. Insignificant influence of climate. Tomorrow, we have the next class on Friday, right? So Friday, you bring Khuller textbook with you, and also bring your Geomorphology, Savindra Singh, because I'm sure 2-3 topic reh jayega. Okay, I'll try to complete it. So bring your textbook and bring your class notes, synopsis, whatever you have. So here we go. So, अब दिखाई दे रहा है ठीक से? Yeah, now it's okay. So you have, it is insignificant influence of climate changes on this. Okay, it is called as a parallel retreat. Okay, page number 70 to 73. In L.C. King, there are 4 elements. A scarp phase bhi hai, debris slope and all of that. L.C. King propounded his geomorphic cycle. He thought it was different from Daviesian model. Okay, but in fact, King's model is more nearer to Daviesian model than the Penck's model, because he talks about normal cycle, he talks about stage and evolution, he talks about time dependency and so on. वो कहते थे it is like Penck, it actually is more like Davis model. Okay, so he says the cycle of pediplanation. It includes the twin process of a scarp retreat and pedimentation or pediplanation. Okay. Now this is where the influence of Davis is shown, page 73 mein. Each cycle begins with rapid rate of upliftment, and there is stability of crust similar to Davis. The cycle passes through youth, mature and old stage like Daviesian model of erosion. Clearly written here. What all conditions is taken from Davis. Stage of youth mein kya hai? Youth has long profile rivers. The valley slope is controlled by physical process on slopes. The small pediments, small inselbergs may appear. Youthful mein hi ho raha hai. In the mature stage, the absence of active valley deepening. So in case of the models, you must know the features very well. So one is this one. Second is the pediments start becoming concave shape. There is extensions of the pediments towards the scarp face. And in case of old stage, the low angle pediments and ultimately multi-concave surface, like a pediplane. So King's model, there's a concept of antique pediplanation, where the origin is much older than what we know. You can skip all of that. Okay? So ये 3 stage पता होना चाहिए. Stage number 1, I repeat. Okay. अब mark कर लो. Stage number 1, as I mentioned, 1 here. One is the long profile, the thalweg has series of nick points. ये irregular thalweg है. Okay. 2 is the valley slope is controlled by physical processes. Okay. There is some lithological control also. That's why structure control लेते हैं from Penck. And the small pediment starts to appear. Okay, which are like enselbergs. Okay, so in Davis model, the monadnocks appear in the last stage. In L.C. King's model, enselbergs start appearing in the youthful stage itself. ठीक है, ये differences हैं. In the mature phase, the valley deepening becomes less. Okay, the pediments are concave and the pediments start to grow. And finally, there's only pediment, which is series of multi-concave surface. Okay? What is L.C. King's model? We have done that. No, Khuller ka Indian geography. Indian geography, because Friday I'll do more of India physical. It will not take much time. Geomorphology bada hai, so we're taking some more time. Otherwise, Indian geography won't take much time. Okay? So now page 286 and 87 mein, okay, he talks about, okay, again, okay, South Africa is a normal stage. South African model, page 286 dekhna. Okay, South Africa landscape is, you observe that humid temperate could not be normal. For him, normal was South African, okay, savanna landscape is normal. Okay. According to him, subtropical, semi-humid regions are most normal. Okay. He rejected the idea of climatic geomorphology. Bataya aapko maine? Okay. Basic controls and all climate elements fine. The process of pediplanation, scarp retreat, pedimentation. Scarp controls the evolution of hill slope. This is an important point. In fact, he said this. He maintained that if the scarp is absent, okay, due to resistant rocks, whatever, the process of slope evolution will be entirely different from the process of parallel retreat and pediplanation. So, scarp is a very important part of L.C. King's model. Okay, and scarp is considered normal and so on. Okay, all of you done? Okay, so this is L.C. King. और यही तीन पे ध्यान देना. कुछ और पूछेगा तो you can have a mix of this, but don't go beyond this. इसमें wood का भी model है, इसमें young का भी model है. Don't get trapped there. L.C. King का model, the one that I have drawn right now, the straight slopes में, you can show parallel slopes. That's it. Okay. So I'm done with the slope models also. Now let's move on towards the next topic. Okay, denudation chronology, okay, and erosion surface. Okay, so I think it's a straight concept, not a problem. Okay, what is denudation chronology? Okay, it is a technique, the technique of arranging landforms or landscapes in terms of time. The study, the analysis, the interpretation of, okay, landforms. So it's एक minute. I'll give you the exact words, no? Sorry, कहाँ गया? यही तो होना चाहिए. ये. Page 308. Page 308. The first paragraph. Okay. It is the technique of identifying, dating, interpreting planation surface in the past cycles and subcycles of erosion. What is it? It is the technique to identify, to date, to interpret planation surfaces developed in past cycles and subcycles of erosion. It is a historical approach. It is a deductive approach. Okay. It studies a palimpsest topography. ये 4-5 keywords हैं. It studies palimpsest topography. What's palimpsest topography? A topography which has imprints of past processes. Palimpsest topography. Okay. It is based on the concept of uniformitarianism. A present is the key to the past. So page 308 का जो पहला page है, it is enough to explain what denudation chronology is. Okay. Remember 3 points in this. One is that it is a deductive model. Whenever you have a deductive model, the model is based on lot of generalizations. Okay, the model will be based on lot of generalizations. So there will be lot of, okay, there will be lot of assumptions and subjective assessments. What's the meaning of deductive reasoning? Like, what's the meaning of deductive reasoning? This basically means that you make generalizations and then you apply them to the specific contexts. You make generalizations and you apply them to the specific contexts. Okay. So when you make generalizations, you're bound to be very speculative. Okay. You're bound to have lot of assumption-based conclusions. Okay. Any method, जैसे डेविस मॉडल भी डिडक्टिव मॉडल है. Okay. So these type of models are always large scale models. You can't apply this model at small scales. बहुत बड़ा एरिया होगा, over a large time span होगा. They are large scale models. Large scale in terms of time, large scale in terms of even areas. The large scale models. ठीक है? So these models will never be accurate models. ठीक है? So this was the older technique. Okay, Davis and the rest, ये old techniques हैं. जो new methods हैं, post 1950s, the models are more analytical. The models are more small scale. But these are older models. हो जाएगा आंसर अभी? Write a note on इस पे. They have not asked any question till now. So अगर पूछेगा तो I think the last was straight question. Okay. What is denudation chronology? It's a technique of identifying, of dating, of interpreting landforms, okay, in cycles or subcycles of erosion. Okay, it is based on study of palimpsest topography. It is based on uniformitarianism concepts, right? It is based on, okay, studying large scale landform studies. They are deductive models and some of these words. They are not applicable. Okay, deductive में generalization से specific में apply करते हैं. Okay, because आपने पहले ये काम किया हुआ इसलिए वो accurate नहीं होगा. Okay, all fine here? Okay, the next point here is, that what is done in this case? In denudation chronology, the landforms are arranged in terms of time and history. पहले क्या आया, उसके बाद में क्या आया. Okay. So the main objective of this technique is the landforms are arranged in terms of a chronological history. Okay. So you know, we like we talk about India. What is Precambrian landforms? What are the Paleozoic landforms? What are the Mesozoic landforms? When I do this, I am doing the denudation chronology of India. ठीक है, इतने में आंसर बन जाएगा आपका, all of you done? Okay. So agar पूछेगा, this is the only possible question they'll ask you. Maybe a criticism of why it is not accurate. Erosion surface, because पूछ चुका है last year, penny planes पूछा हुआ है. So I doubt they'll go down that route again. So you do revision from your notes, nothing much to teach you on that. Okay, you be ready for a 10-mark question on this term, that's all. All fine? Okay, so I'm done with this one. Now come towards channel morphology. Come towards channel morphology. I'm taking off your syllabus ke saath mein, whatever they can ask you. Now, channel morphology, if they ask you my guesses, they can ask you only 4 type of questions here. Okay. One is a very straight question. How is discharge linked to width of the channel, depth of the channel, and the velocity of the channel? You know the equation given by Leopold, Madoc, and so on. This is one possible question. And what are the exceptions? Like the 2 to the power cube root, to the power square root, the 4th power. I hope you know those concepts. Okay, this is one question. How is discharge linked to the 3? The second question they can ask you is something on what is meandering. Why meandering happens? What is meandering? Why it happens? Like, what are the stages of meandering? What are the landforms of meandering? Okay. Okay. The third question they can ask you is, what are the types of channels? Okay. अभी तक इसी पे सवाल पूछा गया है. What are the types of channels? Type of channels: bedrock channel. The channel flows on hard, resistant rocks. They can be alluvial channels if the channel flows on soft sedimentary rocks, or soft unconsolidated sediments, rather, not sediment rocks, soft unconsolidated sediments. They're called as alluvial channels. Now, alluvial channels, okay, can be braiding channels when they break up into lot of branches. Alluvial channels can have something called as avulsion. Avulsion is when they jump, okay, and take up a new course. It's a kind of channel diversion. Okay. Alluvial channels, okay, can be anastomosing channels. I'm presuming you know these terms. I'm only helping you revise this. I'll show the pages to you. Okay, type of channels. And maybe you can have one discussion on how alluvial channels can have, okay, meandering and a varying sinusity index. Okay, meandering and varying sinusity index. So, agar, okay, this is the river, the length of the river along the channel is called as length of the channel. The length of the river, okay, if I consider the whole thing as a straight one from here to here, is called as length of the valley. If I take a ratio, length of the river along the channel, okay, and the straight line length from the terminus to the source is called as length of valley. इस रेशियो को बोलते हैं साइनुसिटी इंडेक्स. ठीक है. So if more than 1, 1.5, 1.05 and so on. I'll show something on the books, all of you. So yahi discussion they can ask you, the type of channels. And they've been asking this, they've asked you about what is braiding, what is avulsion pucha hua hai. I'm anticipating they might ask you anastomosing also, and meandering is a possible question. Okay? Okay, now let me show you something from the textbooks now to help you revise quickly. And channel morphology is a possible question. Okay, your class notes will have 4-5 pages on it. इसमें एक chapter है, वो chapter के बाद उल्टा लेना. Okay, let me show that to you once. Page number 396, 397. The chapter starts. Now page 399 mein, you have these equations. Okay, how okay, the discharge is linked to the width. Okay, so width is discharge to the power 1/4. Depth is discharge to the power 1/2. Velocity is discharge to the power 1/3. Okay, a relationship you should know. Check your notes, you'll have this. This is cube root, this is square root, this is 1/4 of a root. Okay, इसे क्या relationships हैं? And one small discussion, page 400 में है. Okay, what are the exceptions? बस इतना सा page. Page 400. What are the exceptions? If you have done this with me, आपके notes में है ये. That's one discussion. Second discussion they can ask you is about meandering. Page 403. Page 403 has what are the stages of meandering. Okay, refill, pools, distance, the shoal formations and all of that. Okay, there is stage 1, there is stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 and so on. What is meandering and how does meandering happen? That is in another chapter. I'll show that to you. It is in page 424, 425. What are river meanders? Page 424 mein. Okay. What are meanders? Okay. The bends of the longitudinal course of rivers. Okay. There is a cliff slope, a convex side. Okay. What are the reasons why we have meanders? What are the factors? Factors are, okay, general slope is very less, precipitation, large discharge, the late stage of the river, coastal plains mein, the nature of material is erodible material, it has a index of more than 1.3. Okay, so this paragraph, page 425 mein, why do we have meandering? Kya factors kya hai meandering ke? So what is meander? Page 425. Chapter is fluvial geomorphology. Okay? So what is a meander? Why we have meandering? What factors? And what are the stages of meandering is in page 403. Check. Okay. Then page 404. 404 has channel types. There are bedrock channels and there are alluvial channels. Bedrock channels on hard consolidated rocks and alluvial channels, okay, bedrock channels, alluvial kahan gaya? Alluvial channels is here, okay, with sediments, alluviation, fluvial origin, characterized by degradation, erosion, material deposited and reworked. Okay, page 405 mein, what are alluvial channels? This they can ask you a comparison of this. alluvial channels, okay, isme you will have what is a straight channel, what is a meandering channel, what is a braiding channel, okay, and last page mein you have what is an anastomosing channel. In what anastomosing mein kya hota hai, okay, that the braiding channels become stable. The river will not change its course anymore. So anastomosing is a special type of a braiding channel where the channels becomes now very stable. ठीक है? So this chapter के जो 4-5 pages हैं, have a look. इसी से short note पूछेगा तो पूछेगा ये लोग. Most of the channels of Indian deltas are anastomosing. So Ganga का delta has become anastomosing. तो इसमें river course change नहीं होता. The same is true for Krishna Godavari. Same is true for Kaveri also. ठीक है? The old rivers they stabilize eventually. ठीक है? So that's this. Now I talked about SI index, ये वाला, page 406. I hope आप लिख रहे हो page numbers at least. बेटा आज ही खत्म करना है ये सब. I am helping you revise, tell you the terms. घर जाके यही खत्म करो. Okay, tell yourself constantly. It's a matter of 2 months. Okay, इसको और आगे दोबारा नहीं देख पाओगे आप. Okay, so SI, okay, length of channel by length of valley. So diagram में देखो. So if you look at the diagram on 396, okay, so this is the length of the valley, and ये जो straight line है, so length of the channel है ये वाला along this. जो straight line है, this is the length of the valley. Okay, this is the length of the valley here, straight वाला जो है. And along the channel, it is length of the channel. So LC by LV. LC by LV. इसमें क्या है? It is straight if, page 407, straight if the ratio is less than 1.05. Sinuous if it's more than 1.05 but less than 1.5. It is meandering if it is more than 1.5. बस ये 3 याद रखना है, that's all. And this idea was given by Morisawa. Morisawa's model, remember these 3 values. ठीक है? तो जब नोट्स रिवाइज भी कर रहे हो ना, एक बार टेबल को देखते रहना बस. Okay, that takes care of channel morphology. So only one discussion left. I say 2 discussion left. One is applying this to applied geomorphology, which I think is a possible question. The vast ones दोबारा पूछ सकते हैं, and I'll discuss this with Ganga Basin, and some discussions on those landforms. Okay, ठीक है, it's 7:45 now, bit too beyond what you had planned maybe. Itna please revise, go back home. Okay, start off from whatever 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. Sit for, once I have repeated with you, it will not take you more than 1 or 2 hours on this. Okay, and in your list of L1, L2 questions, okay, I have discussed these through answers. देखो, discuss difference between braiding and anastomosing channel. इसका आंसर है आपके पास. Okay, इसको छोड़ दो, ये ओशनोग्राफी का हो गया. Each climate type produces its own assemblage of landforms. Okay, what is इसको छोड़ दो, theory of ocean continent evolution छोड़ दो. American School of Geomorphology देख लेना. Okay, Himalayan upliftment, what are volcanoes, drift theory, earthquake swarms, what are the challenges in study of erosion surface? Question number 13 है. European school, okay, American पूछा हुआ है, European they can ask you. And what are the trends I mentioned today? In the 1950 के बाद में, it became more analytical, it was more small scale study, it was more systems approach, it was more equilibrium theories. So question number 15 का आंसर आपके पास है. Okay, what is Arthur Holmes' theory of geosyncline formation? I had a quick discussion today. इसका आंसर यहाँ पर है. Okay. What is graded reverse? You can leave this also. What is hydrologic geometry of channels? This is the Q and how it impacts width and depth and all of that. इसका आंसर है. Isostasy of Airy and Pratt है. What are equilibrium theories of slope development है. Okay. This landform I'll take up. You can probably look up what is uniformitarianism, contributions to geomorphology. Okay. So most of what I've discussed today is form of the answer in your answer bank. Alluvial fans I'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. What are river modifications? This is what I'm looking at, the applied aspect and how it impacts hydraulic characteristics. So ये जो अगर आपने 20 odd questions revise कर लिया along with today's practice test, I've taken care of the entire geomorphology syllabus itself. ठीक है? Sit down late today, do your work, and tomorrow, if you're part of the GS MSP, tomorrow is the first day for history discussion. The same process we will have tomorrow also. So कल भी आप बैठेंगे, if you are there, you've enrolled with us, you have the first the practice answers, then Uttam will sit down with you, revise history, and then you have your revisions. Take online, guys. Thanks for being patient. It's like you are doing me a favor. And I'm happy most of you stayed back. Do teen, okay, they could have had some other reasons. I hope you understood what I mean by intense study now. Yeah? Good revision. I'm happy. So see, from 12 to 2 or 3, give the test. आपका हाथ खुल जाएगा. Then the 1 hour break you have, because my class will start from 4 o'clock. So 1 घंटा break होगा. Have your lunch and revise whatever you can, and then sit with me. So in one day I'll finish off 2 units of yours. If you have a doubt, I can discuss, Soumya. ठीक है? Okay. Let's catch up. So I'll meet you on Friday again. On Friday, I'll do Indian geography. India physical I will do. Mountain building, monsoons, vegetation, all of that I will do. And also bring Savinder Singh. पूरा खत्म नहीं कर पाए हम. I'll finish that on Friday. Bye. Oh wow, it's quite some time. Yes. आज कर देंगे. ठीक है. So you will have this model answers L1, L2. Will go on now. तो fight होगा, perfect तो होगा नहीं. But एक बात करके आओ, you will have confidence slowly building. Let me ask, आपका तो अलग issue है ना? So मैं दे दिया करूँगा. आपको मैंने आज का दे दिया, देख लो. Okay, उसका भी दे दें. चलो. Okay, बेटा. Yes, बताओ.
आज ही आया था तो आपको सीधे से
आज आया था और आज फंस गए.
इसमें फंसता नहीं था नहीं, आपके पास ही था, इसीलिए बैग में लेके आया था, मुझे पता होता है आपका. ओल्ड बाजीराव में थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस था.
There is no other short way of teaching these things, no?
एक्चुअली सर आपने इस तरीके से मतलब बुक तो कोई बताता नहीं था, तो बुक जो आपने बताया था तो जो मेंस मैंने थीसिस में दिया उसका काफी काम है. तो ये
आपने थीसिस दिया हुआ है?
हां, अभी जस्ट देखे ही आए झारखंड से. पहले बिहार का दिया, फिर पहले
एक बार ग्राउंड हो गया, फिर तो एग्जाम देना तो